That's what it is. They want you to go ahead and buy it.
Yeah, who wants to run show?
I will.
Okay, you run show. Tim, did you want to do opener?
Yes, and I can do the community stuff too.
Okay, we are sponsored today by both Gooder and Manscaped, by the way. And Jesse, I sent you a game code to take a trailer to take a look at. I think you might like it.
You did?
Also, Marty, I did tweet or tag Team 17 about that game you're interested in, and basically
saw that.
I saw that too.
Let's chat about us maybe getting access.
I saw this video drop, but I don't know anything about it. I'll check it after the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Okay,
I would love to have that game by Extra Life.
The other one I think you should look at for before Extra Life is, let me find it. I have tagged it and I have tagged it for us. Where is it?
You lost it.
Lost something in space. Let me find it. It is a I think it comes I think the day before Extra Life. So I think it'd be great actually for us we could play it on stream. It'd be good. Let me just access it right now. All right. Are we ready for this thing?
Trying to be.
From Space, by the way. From Space is the game.
Ooh, yes. That looks amazing.
Yeah.
Would love to play that on.
We've got a key mailer request in already. I may actually just go straight out to the devs and say like, hey, yo, can we make sure we're headed? It comes out the day before Extra Life, so it doesn't matter, right? Also, but it'd be great. All right. Jesse, you let everyone know when they're ready.
I'm ready.
Oh, well, there you go.
I'm ready.
That's ready.
Everybody's ready?
Ready.
All right. 3, 2. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 397, recorded on October 20th, 2022. On tonight's episode, we talk about PSAs, controversies, harassments, and questions. Oh my. Jesse, you know what to do.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Marty here. You're listening to Nintendo Dads. It's October 20th, 2022, and this is episode 397, creeping ever closer to magical episode 400 that we're going to record live and together in the great state of New Jersey.
In 2 weeks, we're touching each other. I feel
that's a thing he's saying, folks. That's a thing he's saying. Also, another mythical thing has happened. If you haven't noticed, all four of us are on the show tonight. So for those of you who are watching, we're sorry. For those of you who are listening, you're welcome. Joining me on the show this week, Mr. Justin Masson in the banana hued glasses. I like it.
Thank you. Yes, these are from Gooder. Have you heard of them before?
Oh, I have.
Oh, have you? Yes. Yeah. Hey, yeah. Wow. I can't believe we're all back. Right. This is fantastic. And I am like so excited. It is hard. Like my brain is like starting to come a reality that literally in 2 weeks in 2 weeks from now, we are sitting around at a table together, having this conversation, eating pizzas, drinking beers, having a great time, man. I am so excited. And then jumping into Extra Life, it's just, there's too much going on, but I'm excited that we're all here. Marty, it's great to see you back. That's awesome.
It's good to be back.
Jesse and Tim, thanks for holding down the fort, as they always do, the most consistent Nintendo dads there are. But man, it is great to be back and great to come back on some really interesting content to talk about today.
Yeah, it's like we're in the midst of controversy and game deluge and all kinds of other things that we're going to get into tonight. But joining us, as Justin has also mentioned just a moment ago, I guess now, Tim, you're really like also co-employee of the year because you've had to wing it and hold it down while we've been gone.
Jesse's my mentor, so
I don't want us to take that away from Jesse. You know what I'm saying?
I'll share.
Like Jesse's work is admirable. Tim's is average. Do you know what I mean?
I'm still learning from Jesse. He's my mentor.
Jesse, I was just going to let him have it this year.
Okay. All right.
Just this year. All right. Co-employee of the year 2022. Tim Off, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Just considering all things considered, I'm doing great. You know, and always glad to start ending the week with you guys. So, and start talking about all our favorite stuff about video games, right?
Yeah. Yep.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Still here.
Well, that's always a good
right?
sign. I've
Yeah,
always heard like the older people, much older than us, whenever you ask how they're doing, they always say, well, my feet touch the floor.
Yeah. I'm still
like,
living.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good thing. It's been a good week. I'm still really worn out. For those of you who are listening that maybe didn't hear a couple weeks ago, maybe you're a new listener, maybe old listener just popping back in. I lost my dad 2 weeks ago today. He passed away Thursday afternoon, October 6th. And so wasn't on the show that week. Obviously wasn't on the show last week. Was getting some things settled with my mom, helping her out, and doing some things there. And now she's at home. I'm here. We're back to work, back in the thick of it. And so it's been a unique week. Let's put it that way. There's been some unexpected good things. There's been some unexpected not so good things. But our community was awesome, by the way, during that time. I didn't expect any less. And so if you're out there and you reached out, I want you to hear it from my voice and not from me sending you a message, how much I appreciated that and how thankful I was for you guys, even people checking in today, trying to find out how I was. So thank y'all. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. And so, I'm like Tim. I'm just glad to be here tonight. Glad to be doing something.
Yeah, and I just want to say, Marty, like you don't need to worry about handing in your time off sheet. We filled it out for you. All right, so it's cool.
I appreciate that.
You feel good about that. All right, like we had you on that.
Glad you were taking care of me while I was gone. Speaking of taking care of us all, Mr. Uncle Jesse Waldack.
Yeah,
how you doing, buddy?
I had a joke planned, but then you said what you said, so I don't know if it's appropriate anymore. But
I cut tension. I cut tension with jokes. Like not tension, but like uncomfortable. Like silence.
I mean, it's okay.
It's
okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Okay.
If I do, I'll just disconnect.
Ask me how I'm doing again. I'll do the joke I planned.
Jesse, how are you doing?
See, I still have a pulse, though. I think there's someone who is looking into changing that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nice.
I love it.
I hope that sounded good.
I don't like Robo Jesse, but he scares me. I'm just going to be honest.
By the way, lots of support from the Twitch chat also, Marty.
Thank you guys. I really. Yeah. I mean, we have the absolute best community. So it's fantastic. Lots to talk about on the show this week. And so let's just head straight into it, shall we? Let's talk about the news. Do it. Of course, our show is brought to us by our good friends over at Gooder and Manscaped, and we'll talk about them a little bit later in the show. But it's also brought to us by you, friendly folks, over at patreon.com/NintendoDads. And we want to thank each and every person who signed up over there, whether you're $1 a month patron or whether you're a $30 a month patron. You matter to us. You're part of the best community on the internet. And we are so thankful to be your family and friends. And we just want to thank you for fueling the fire around here and keeping the train moving. So you can head over to patreon.com/NintendoDads and sign up. If you haven't signed up, head on over there tonight, or today, as you're listening to this right now. Go. I promise we'll be here when you get back. All right. So let's dive straight into the news. For those of you who upgraded to NSO and Expansion Pack on day one last year, this is a reminder. It's going to expire on the 25th and it'll automatically renew unless you turn your automatic renewals on before the 23rd of this month. That's like next week, folks. So the red flag is out. But for those of you who are members of the NSO Expansion Pack, tonight Nintendo announced that Mario Party and Mario Party 2 will be making their way to Nintendo Switch Online, Nintendo 64 app as of November 2nd, which is right in time for Extra Life I'm sure we'll be checking those out.
They did that just for us.
I did that. They called me today and they said, "Hey Marty, we just want to let you know."
I thought you were like, they called you and were like, "Hey Marty, what do you want?" And Marty was like, "Oh, Mario Party," and then hung up the phone. I was like, "Oh, GoldenEye was the right answer. I'm so sorry."
Yeah. I wish it was GoldenEye.
So I guess we need to pack our gloves.
Yeah, need to pack your gloves and your invisible Nintendo 64 NSO controller if you've got one of those. Does everybody have one of those by now?
What's that?
The Nintendo 64 controller?
Yeah, I got one sent to me.
You got Jesse. Yours has a cord coming out.
It's charging.
Oh, since you're just holding up a regular Nintendo 64 controller, like, yeah, I got one.
It's got the switch buttons.
I see it. It.
Is it crazy that like we're realizing for this trip that we have to pack like additional different controllers? Like I'm like, all right, well, there's my Super Nintendo. There's my N64.
I'm just packing. I'm not bringing the Super Nintendo. You can play that on a Joy-Con. It's fine. But you can't play the Nintendo 64 games. I'm sorry. You got to play them with that controller.
Yep.
Tim, we're gonna find you one beforehand so that you're not the oddball.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
He's like, well, okay.
Okay.
If I have to. Now we'll let you. I mean, maybe we'll just find you one to borrow. All right. However, Japan announced at time of recording we say this is announced only in Japan at the time of recording. It may be announced tomorrow. They are getting some extra perks, and maybe you are too. So don't get mad if you don't, but don't just know it's probably coming tomorrow. Additional services will be available to subscribers of Nintendo Switch Online beginning November 2nd, and this is only for expansion pack. Double My Nintendo Gold points. In other words, from November 2nd through January 31st, 2023, games purchased from the eShop will grant double the normal amount of My Nintendo Gold points. So 10% instead of 5%. You'll still get 5% at the time of purchase like normal, but you'll get the other 5% in early February. That's just so odd. Also, if you're not subscribed yet and you make purchases starting November 2nd and then become subscribed, you'll still earn the bonus My Nintendo Gold points. Subscriber-only icons will be available featuring Mario 64, Kirby 64, Majora's Mask, and Nintendo 64. And then from November 2nd through November 3rd, subscribers can redeem packs of icons distributed in a monthly rotation. And you can purchase subscriber-only products at the My Nintendo store. So November 2nd through January 31st, you can buy a t-shirt, a mug, and a set of 10 stickers with a Nintendo 64 motif. It can only be purchased from the My Nintendo store for subscribers only. Now, again, if you've heard all that and you're like, yes, it sounds awesome. It's great if you're in Japan. It's not so great if you're not there. I kind of have a sneaking suspicion reading this that we're not getting this. And do you know why? Because in Japan, you can still buy vouchers. Guess where you can't do that? Here. So I will be very surprised if we get this. But I would also not be shocked if we get it, right? Because again, it's value time, right? Justin, you were talking about this pre-show. It's time for what?
Yeah, Nintendo has to show their value, right? They have to talk about why you should actually be renewing this. And what's the incentive? What's the carrot on the end of the stick? I'm sorry, GoldenEye is, well, like, sure, but that's not good enough, right?
Smash
like
Brothers.
Yeah, you need to really start to really kind of continue to that incentivization.
It's time for another system.
Yeah, I agree with that. Right?
Time for another console, handheld or otherwise.
Yeah, I agree.
And but here's the thing, though. Part of me wants to say that this is a lot of effort for things like mugs and T-shirts and icons and different things like this. A lot of effort to not roll it out across all regions. Like especially like the Nintendo, like the icon. Like I'm thinking about the profile icons. Like how much does that really cost them to roll out across all regions? And if like some people are like, I like the icons, like I like the especially like the system or console related icons they've done with the NES. I hope we're getting some Super Nintendo ones as well. But I like those different things that you can.
Initially, I didn't care for them, but when they did like the system based ones, like the Famicom and things like that, then I started collecting.
Splatoon 3 ones have been really good too.
Yeah, I didn't care about those. And then I've been
I really
collecting the
like
Zelda ones.
I was going to say that with the Splatoon and the Breath of the Wild, they're doing some really good, neat, unique things with like symbols and not just characters. Like they're different colored squid symbols or different colored like the divine beast symbols and things like that. Like that, those are neat. I like that, and I also like getting this pixel artwork, the NES icons. I didn't buy them all. Like Clue Lands, nobody cares. Ice Climbers, get it out of here. You know, like where's my Mega Man icon? Come on, give it. I need it. Inject it right into my vein. I don't know. Anyway,
NSO cross Capcom.
I would love that. Tim, you got anything about this you want to throw in here?
Nope.
Okay. Awesome. I just want to be sure everybody had got to say their piece.
No, sorry, I was distracted because I was just thinking, like, just to let you all know, Justin and Marty, how important you guys are to the show. When Jesse and I were doing the show by ourselves, we only had half of the viewers we have right now. All those times. Now that you guys are on, the viewership has grown double.
Well,
it's
probably just an off Thursday night. It's probably, there's no TV on right now. It's if it's good. like down here in America, baseball is preempting everything. Yeah. And I went to watch my last week. I went to watch my beloved Masked Singer. No, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. I went to watch my beloved Masked Singer on Wednesday night and Lego Masters. And you know what was on? Baseball. That's why I have to say that.
It's your favorite.
Everything. Don't they have whole channels for that? They have whole channels for that. I have one channel to watch Lego Masters on. Get it off there. Give me my Lego. That's it. Anyway, I just like to, I want to end my Wednesday nights with a tub of homemade popcorn and Will Arnett. Is that too much to ask? No, it's not.
No, you should have gotten that for sure.
I should have gotten
How
that.
dare they?
And then baseball or something interrupted my wrestling this week too. Get it out of here. They have a whole channel for that. They have ESPN. Go on.
Son of a gun.
Anyway. That's now look, here's going to come in the chat. Chris is going to be in there and he's going to be like, but Marty, don't you want to watch an NHL 94? I do. I want to watch Chris play NHL 94 because I feel like it would be like one of those things that you would set to like Carmina Burana or something like that. Like, like Duel of Fates. It's going to be that good.
I think what would happen is if NHL 94 comes to the Switch and you can play people online, like
his head's going to explode.
That's it. That's what his latest ask has been. Just let Nintendo bring it to NSO so it can be played online.
I'm fine with that.
I would be great with that too. But I think hell would freeze over and the Lions would win the Super Bowl. Nice. So if that happens.
Hey, did you guys actually going back to the NSO stuff? Did you guys actually see the like swag that they're offering, like these t-shirts, mugs, and stickers? Did you take a look at this stuff? Here, I'll just share my screen. So this is what they've actually got. Hold on a second here.
I want to see it.
All right. There's the t-shirt. You see that?
Yeah.
And there's the mugs. I
like the mugs.
I kind of like the mugs with the red coloring.
Oh wow,
that's kind of cool. That's slick. And then that's the stickers.
Cool. Oh yeah, the stickers are nice too.
Yeah.
Can I get the Nintendo 64 sticker? I kind of like a lot of the stickers, although I don't know what this is. I assume that's Pikmin. So
that's crazy.
Pikmin wasn't on the 64.
Oh,
might be Kirby.
It could very well be Kirby. I don't see any Kirby there.
But I think the mugs look good. Not loving the shirt. I don't love a white shirt. A white shirt's just asking for an accident. You know what I'm saying? Just asking for like
That looks like something that somebody's mom would make them because they really like Nintendo 64. And she's like,
they got out the iron and did like the
64 shirts.
Yeah, they got out the iron and did like the press on patch or whatever, and just like
she just downloaded the box art and ironed it on there.
Exactly what it looks like. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm sorry, I'm bringing this back. I was just like, what is going on?
No, that's fine. I'm glad you showed me those because it has oddly decreased and increased my want for them at the same time. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about something else. It's a little more controversial. Surely by now, if you've been online in the last week or so, you have seen the controversy over Bayonetta 3 and the lead voice actress that has voiced Bayonetta for the previous two games coming online and doing a video basically claiming that they offered her $5,000 for the entire game and how we should all boycott the game and give that money to a charity. Since then, there's been quite a bit of hubbub about it, including the new voice actor or voice actress for Bayonetta making a statement, which was pretty innocuous, but it threw a little bit of shade, basically saying, you know me and you know what I can do, basically, type of thing. And she has been, the new voice actress. There's not, I think nobody really that I've seen had anything bad to say against her. It's Jennifer Hale. She's done Mass Effect. She's done countless other voiceover projects and super professional and super good at what she does. From there, different news articles began to pick up on more details that were leaked to them, including the fact that it seems like the original voice actress for Bayonetta was offered $5,000 per cutscene or per part of the game, which would have been a sizable chunk.
Recording session.
Per recording session.
Per recording session. Thank you.
Of which there's going to be 4 or 5 sessions.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you're looking at
4,000
or 5,000?
4,000 per session.
So you're looking at a maximum of like $20,000 for the game.
Correct. And the commentary from Platinum's they're estimating could be between 4 to 5 sessions. So anywhere between $16,000 to $20,000 is how much they were offering the voice actress to come back and reprise her role. The voice actress name is Helenas Taylor.
Thank you.
And she's the one who's that's okay. She's the one she was Bayonetta on Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta 2, presumably did all the Smash Brothers VO for Bayonetta as well, or that may have been done in different sessions.
I think there was an anime or a movie done.
Potentially any time that Bayonetta has came into it. The understanding of it is, and what I would encourage people to do is to head over to Bloomberg and check out Jason Schreier, who did a great job of reporting on this.
Yes.
Helenas Taylor went to social media on Saturday and basically kind of made this video saying like, hey, this is how much they were offering me. I refused it because I should be paid properly. We should be paid what we're worth. 100% don't disagree with that. And so everyone was like, okay, we're going to boycott. And then a couple days later, information came out in regards to, like Jason Schreier got the receipts basically from Bloomberg and said, no, she was actually offered X amount, right? Not 4,000. She was offered somewhere between 16 and 20. Now, the other part of the rumor or the conversation is that after that, she had basically said she wanted 6 figures. So near the 6 figures, $100,000 would be a 6
plus
figures.
Plus
residuals, to which they said no. And then it stalled out. Negotiations failed. Right. Once negotiations failed, then they brought in the other voice actress that Marty referenced a couple of moments ago, Jennifer Hale, to step into that position and to take over as Bayonetta on Bayonetta 3 as well.
And literally, let's be clear. We knew that the voice actress was changing. That had already been announced, and there was very little chatter about that online, especially knowing that it was going to be Jennifer Hale and people expected her to do what you might call a bang up job on that, right? She was going to be fantastic. But then the original voice actress came out with this video where I think we can linger in this pocket for a minute and talk about is up until a certain point, I think this could be argued that this is like he said, she said, right? It's back and forth. It's kind of smoke and mirrors, if you want to call it that. But up to that point, the point that you reach is Jason Schreier. And to be honest, 9 times out of 10, Schreier don't miss and doesn't publish things unless there's some certainty to them, at least from what I've found. I would say that in my experience, he's probably the most hard-hitting games journalist that exists in the games industry today, in the video game industry today. He's not afraid to publish stories that are hard or that are difficult. And I don't see him backing down from this one either. So I guess, like, where do you think this stands? Like, where do we think this stands, and what are we supposed to do with that information? Because early on, you know, when she came out with her video, it was like a lot of people were like, well, I'm done with Platinum. I'm done with this. But if you go online and look right now, here's some stats that I'm pulling from our notes right now, that before this controversy came about, this Bayonetta, as much as you love it, guys, out there, is not one of the best-selling IPs for Nintendo. I'm sorry, it's just not. That's fact. It was not even on Amazon's video game top 50 before controversy. During it, the game appeared on the video game top 50 sellers at 40. And as of this recording, it is on the top 50 game sellers list at number 24. So controversy creates cash. Thank you, Eric Bischoff. So what are we thinking here? Is this real, or let's poke the bear here? Is it just publicity?
So part of this that also kind of caused more, an uproar early on that made people, like the original voice actor, again, if I don't remember her name, Helena, that seemed to give her legitimacy, was that the Platinum lead pretty much had a flake out on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
did a mass banning.
Kamiya,
of course,
yeah, he was gone.
Of course, he does of course, doing mass blocks is normal for him. Apparently, he does not like talking in English. If you don't talk to him in Japanese, he will just block you for no reason, or that's the only reason. But so he if he remained calm, if he can, I think things might have straightened out a little bit faster than they have been. But yeah, Platinum could have handled this a little bit better too.
You know what's funny about this is right before this happened, I listened to Kit and Krista's podcast episode about their time with Mr. Kamiya when the Wonderful 101 was coming out. I believe it was for Wii U, and they had to do like a bunch of things with him at Treehouse and different things like that. And it was just a funny juxtaposition. I would love to hear what they kind of say about this because they worked so closely with him for like a week when they were still at Nintendo. But it was just weird. It was like weird hearing this, like, kind of like, because I've been listening to Kit. I love listening to Kit and Chris's podcast because it's really upbeat. It's positive. And they of course put a really positive spin on their time with Mr. Kamiya. But then you hear stuff like this, or you hear he blocks people if they don't talk to him in Japanese.
I think this issue is really challenging to kind of separate and break, right? And I think one of the first things that as we looked at it, right, Helena's response on Saturday, everyone saw the video. This is outrageous. She was only getting paid $4,000. And there is such I think, a tension regarding underpaid talent, underpaid voice actors. We hear that in the industry a lot. So it kind of felt like, wow, this kind of feels like it's probably aligned with what we hear more and more about voice actors within in the industry, in the video game industry specifically. So yeah, this can definitely make sense. And then there's a statement of like, and I think you should cancel, and I think you should donate to charity. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The internet reacts in the way the internet does, which is kind of like, yeah, we're on, right? Like, let's jump on that very quickly. And so you see a lot of like the boycott Bayonetta. You see a lot of the I've canceled my pre-order. I'm never going to do this, never going to buy it. Way to go, platinum. It's very knee-jerk reaction. And there's a couple things that I would say to it. Like, one of the things that I think people are challenged with is that when you hear bad behavior from a company, not treating their employees well, how do we as gamers respond or react to those things? Because let's go along this commentary that yes, Helena was indeed offered 4,000. Let's go down a reality where that is the absolute 100% truth. And so our response is we are going to boycott Bayonetta. We're not going to pay for it. We're not going to buy it because this one person was underpaid for. And I get that. But what about the 300, 400, 500 people behind her who have spent years of their life designing, creating a story to tell? We are not honoring or respecting their work and their time through it as well. And I can reassure you that everybody feels underpaid in what they do, right? Like we all, like, I could use an extra $100 all the time, right? We all feel that way in regards to our own job. And so I think that this is something that we as gamers struggle with, and there's no right answer. So here's the thing. I'm not saying if you were like, I canceled my pre-order, I'm not saying you're wrong. If you're like, I didn't cancel my pre-order, I'm not saying you're wrong. You need to
someone
make
in chat said they weren't planning on buying the game at all, but because of the controversy, they got them interested in it.
Yeah, right. Like you need to make decisions that you feel comfortable with, right? This is your morality and your moral compass, not somebody else's, right? So don't look for validation from the internet. And by the way, if someone does their thing, let them do their own thing. Stay on your own moral ground. Stay where you want to be. But this is a challenge that gamers face and will continue to face as we look to these big corporations, these big organizations, and ask for, like, oh my, great example, Activision Blizzard. Like, let's sit in that pocket right now. Bobby Kodak's an absolute piece of shit, right? Timestamp that. We can 100% agree upon that, right? Like there's no doubt about that. But then I'm like, well, Overwatch 2, I'm having a great time. So how do you wrestle those things, right? Because I recognize that there is a team of individuals who have worked hard to create a story, and no artist, and let's understand, engineers, art designers, voiceover talents, project managers. These are people who want to tell a story. Nobody goes in with the intention of like, I want this to be horrible and you not to enjoy it, right? So how do you kind of wrestle with that? That is up to you to wrestle with. And here's the reality: more and more companies you're going to hear this out of, right? We just saw not too long ago, Nintendo, their lawsuit, right, regarding part-time workers, or contract workers, right? Businesses are run by people. People make dumb mistakes sometimes and make horrible things happen. What I'm saying here is a couple of things. You realize this: businesses are not your, say it with me, friends.
Businesses are not your
business. It is called business for a reason. Right? Someone, even before this came, I was having a conversation, I think it was with John, or Nick from Dad's, who was it? Nick from Game Pass News. He's like, what do you think happened here? And I said, so here's my opinion. If indeed we believe that it was the $4,000 in Helena, I said, here's probably what happened. They didn't want Helena to return. So you lowball an offer that
that's what my wife said.
100% she's not going to take. And so then you can bring on another actress, right? Maybe she was difficult to work with in the studio. Who knows, right? And so as a business, you're running a decision of like, well, if we have a Bayonetta, we can't just like not have her. So we're going to have somebody, but like she's done it before. So we need to find a way to let her down. So we'll lowball her basically, right? And then we'll come in and pay someone else to do it. That could have happened, but who knows? Now, the commentary here was basically negotiations failed. And this was kind of the other part of it afterwards. Like after Saturday, Monday, Jason Schreier comes out and says, we did the research, we did the receipts, we've taught. Now, do people lie? Yes, of course people lie, right? Someone's lying somewhere about something, right? Whether it was Helena saying how much she was actually offering, or omitting the truth, right? I'm not lying, I just didn't tell you this other thing, right? Or is it a corporation lying about what was actually offered and making up stuff? It's hard to say. I think it's important that we kind of first always go for, support the victim, right? Like we have to believe in this case, the victim. In this case, the victim is Helena. And then you kind of see the truth afterwards of like, so what is it? Where does it go? But again, you need to make your own decisions for where it lands. What we know to be true: voice actors struggled struggle to get proper working conditions. And I do think it's important. I want to say this is a big stamp here. The statement I would agree with her is like, it is important to know your worth and to know what you are asking for, right? Like that is critical. Like, do not like, don't don't just take jobs. Like she's like, I know my worth. I know how much I should be paying for, and I'm going to ask for that. Right. And I'm going to request that. And if I don't get it, I don't get it. You swing and a miss sometimes in negotiations, but like, I'm not going to bend on this. And that's what's happened. I will also make some other statements here in regards to Helena. Whatever NDA she has signed, that's gone, right? Like that's destroyed. And also she ain't coming back for any Bayonetta project again, right? Like she stepped in front of that kind of train and set her piece. Like she ain't coming back. So
and even in the other project, people might just look at her and say, "Oh, hell no."
Well, yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I think that out of the two, she shot her shot, if you want to just call it that what it is. You know, she swung, and she's the one that ended up looking bad. Just to be honest, I mean, like at first there was this tidal wave of support for her. And then all this other stuff starts coming out, and people were always like, it was funny almost to watch people start like how quickly people started backpedaling.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, that shows me something. And I think this teaches us a valuable lesson about the internet. And here it is that we need to be, and I'm just going to quote, we need to be slow to speak and quick to listen.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I was saying.
Slow to speak, slow to get angry, and quick to listen. That's what I was saying. That's pretty good advice.
When she was basically, that's what I was saying when she announced that, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, we need to boycott this," and I was like, "We need to hear the other side of the story.
Yep,
we need to know more."
Absolutely.
Okay, Justin was saying. He was saying we need to support the victim, but I also, I want to support you, but I need to know both sides of this, 100%. All sides of the story.
You mean her sending out a video tweet on a Saturday, on a weekend, when a PR team is not mobilized to communicate? Like, that's a strategic move.
That's a megaton bomb. Yeah. I mean, really, that's what it is. It's meant to derail because everyone knows. There's not work. Those teams are not at work on the weekend. And on top of that, and again, I'm not trying to throw her under the bus at all, but I'm saying this. She's also throwing blame at a company with the guy who hates to talk in English, who needs to tell his side of the story too. And it's the weekend and you're 12 hours ahead. So there's a lot. There was a lot at play there. I don't know if it was calculated to be that way or not, but you could say that it looks that way. But here's the deal.
As it grew, it became more fishy.
Yeah. Here's the deal. If you just realize that Bayonetta sucks as a game, then you don't have to worry about this.
There you go. Yeah. But it is funny.
And it doesn't make any sense anyway.
Like,
so Marty, it doesn't matter. They could get Chris Pratt to voice Bayonetta, and it would solve the whole thing. That's fine.
No one would be upset about that.
There you go. But he wouldn't even try to do a Bayonetta voice. It would just be Chris Pratt. Be like, hey,
funny your commentary, like now it's sitting at number 27 on the Amazon, right? Like, and by the way, folks, like reviews haven't come in for it. Like nothing's pushing that. There's no early reviews or previews that's push, or maybe there might be new previews, early previews. There's no review scores that's pushing that, right? So that is all controversial word of mouth.
What kind of makes me wonder is, okay, how long has the voice acting for this game been done? And now all of a sudden it pops up.
Yeah, I mean it is interesting, right? So
Justin, you do voice acting. How? Like, I'm serious. You have done paid voice acting work.
Yep.
So what's the turnaround time?
So now again, I'm not doing video game voiceovers. I'm not being rebrought into studios. No. Like it's commercial, right? Like it's not crazy stuff. Like I'm recording 30 seconds to 1 minute long commercial stuff, right? So nothing super crazy, but like from recording to production to like when it's out in public, 2 months, right? But
okay, so 2 months.
That's
2 months for a 1 minute spot. So on here, you've got multiple cutscenes and in-game dialogue. All of that has to be inserted into the game. All of those games have to be put on carts, inserts have to be printed, boxes have to be shipped, warehouse, distribution points have to be contacted, all of that. So how long has this game been done?
Well, in terms of voice acting in games, a lot that's probably one of the earlier things that happens, especially in a higher quality game where they lip sync, the mouth flaps with the voices. Like Dragon Quest XI did a really good job. Surprisingly,
that's our title, by the way.
Yep.
For this one. Mouth flaps.
And like Dragon Quest XI did a really good job with that. Surprisingly so. That's a game that didn't need it, but they did it, and it worked out well. So yes, and that level detail of animation takes time, especially on large cutscenes. And many large cutscenes.
Like this would, so I mean, even if you think about that, like they probably, if they were originally going to bring Helena in, went through negotiations, it failed. They then needed to recast, which means they needed to find someone else who could do a Bayonetta voice, right, or their own twist on it. So they had to recast and bring that in, right? So it would have taken work for them to do that, and then you have to figure out studio sessions, recording, all of that kind of plug-in stuff as well, right? I imagine, like, if I'm ballparking, that VO has been done a year at least, and she sat on it. She sat on that information. Her NDA may have only been for so long, so she may not have blown her NDA, right? It is potential that her NDA had an expiration of like, October 15th or whatever it was, and so then she was fine.
That's a good thought.
It's really tough to say.
One thought I had was that maybe she, and this is just I'm just throwing something out there. Maybe there was something going on where she felt like, I don't want people to be mad at me because I'm not doing this part. So I'm going to say that it wasn't my fault. It was their fault.
Well, I think and that's the thing, is I think that there was information coming out about it was like, she's not returning. And the response I think Platinum gave, or someone gave in an interview, was scheduling conflict. Yeah. Right. Which is basically like, they're unavailable. Right. Well, hold on a second. If they are the lead character, like, no one's like, hey guys, Charles Martinet just had a scheduling conflict, so we just had to went with somebody else. You're like, nope. Like, that's a BS. That's a BS statement. And so they said that, and then she's like, that's not true. It wasn't a scheduling conflict. It was a money conflict is what it was.
Well, it certainly was a money conflict if she wanted six figures.
Yeah.
But
and residuals.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. We spent a lot of time on that.
But it's a big issue. And I think that, humans are messy. Human work is messy.
Yep.
I was going to say, I just find it hilarious that it shot up the charts.
The other part of it
controversy creates cash.
Yeah, from the voiceover perspective, because people have asked this, like, voice actors have day rates, right? So basically, they may have for a 4-hour session, my rate is $2,000, whatever that is. Or when they're offered a role, there is a hey, we're gonna, we want to offer you $3,000 for a 4-hour session, usually in chunks, right? They're their own employees, right? So they negotiate that, right? It's not a set fee. They're not employees of Platinum. They're their own contract, right? So after it's done, they'd submit a bill or a receipt to say, here's my services. They have their own legal entities and businesses around that. So that negotiation is quite critical for what they set as their own. So they can set what rate they feel is applicable. A company says, here's what we're going to pay. And an actor has an opportunity to say yes or no to that, right? When I get sent my scripts that I do some VO for, and again, not that I'm making tons and it's a little bit different, but I get a copy and the copy says, here's what we are offering for this. And it's like, you accept it or not. Right. And depending on how long these sessions, depending on how long the session is going to be, maybe 2 hours, it is what it is. Right. So as a voice actor, any artist, right? You look at animation, any artist that has their own company or any these arts has their ability to do their own negotiations and know their worth. But I think it is important to understand what you're worth as well.
That's a good word. Absolutely a good word. Speaking of a good word, Super Mario Brothers movie. Wow, we're still buzzing on that trailer. It was fantastic. News came out this week that it will be rated PG.
Son of a gun.
Yes.
I was hoping for a hard R.
You might get to hear Mario say "but" or the D word. I don't know.
Full frontal pipe, you know?
Oh my
Just some warp pipe.
Get out of here. What did you do? Get out of here. You're talking about touching in 2 weeks and this and God. We're a family show, Justin. We're family. If
you know what? Every once in a while,
if you want to do that, go over to Dad's After Dark. Okay.
I just move the dial a little bit, right?
Yeah, I know.
Just like you did at the 31-minute mark.
He's trying to help the parents introduce their children to the dark side a little quicker than they need to be, I guess.
If they want to do that, they can just go watch Minions.
NintendoDads@gmail.com.
I want to know this. Okay, so I just watched The Rise of Gru, which actually was surprisingly not a terrible movie. I really thought it was going to be, but it was actually funny. We laughed. I just wonder if at some point during this, there's going to be a fart gun somewhere in the Super Mario. Because there's just like, it just seems like there's a line of fart jokes in every Illumination movie. I'm not, and listen, I'm not knocking the fart jokes. Fart jokes are there. That's class humor. There.
That's the basics. That's the basics.
Yeah. Like, are we just gonna like, is it gonna be like a fart and Goomba? Like, I'm okay with that. Like, or as long as the kids rips one.
As long as it's quick and done, and they don't linger over the joke.
Drag it out.
That's true. That's true. Speaking of being over and done, Nintendo has pulled the latest Nintendo Switch Sports update, which led to connection issues and lots of other nasty things happening. In fact, this is the first time that I could think of in recent memory that Nintendo has taken one of their first party titles completely offline and shut down online servers. And pulled an update after releasing it. A new version has been released today, and so far there doesn't seem to be any problems. So if you are still playing, if you're one of the 10 people out there that's still playing Nintendo Switch Sports,
hi John,
you need to update your release, and then you can go back online and play with your other 9 friends till golf comes out, and then 20 people will be playing.
Then Drew will start playing it again.
Yeah. Nintendo has also announced this week as well that if you call them for repairs and you are a Karen, if you're rude to their customer service staff and repair staff, they will come after you, including police and lawyers. So that tells me this. Some of y'all need to simmer down and behave when you're calling about your Joy-Cons. Yelling at those people is not going to get you any free repairs. It's not going to get you any free swag or merch or anything. It just makes you a jerk. Okay. So treat people nice and give people respect, and just, God, why do we even have to say this? Like, why does Nintendo even have to issue a statement that says, hey, be nice to our employees?
Because of the internet.
Well,
as we already discussed.
Sometimes, you know what I wish would happen? Can I say this? Sometimes what I wish would happen is that we would all have to go back to dial-up. All of us. And there's only like 3 lines in your county, or 3 lines. Do any of y'all remember that?
Oh, yeah.
The America Online days.
I was probably one of the earlier adopters of I used to use BBSs back in like 88,
some of you people
89.
out there are not, you're going to hear what I'm about to say, and you're going to go, that's ridiculous. That never happened.
So if you're in a vehicle right now, ladies and gentlemen, here's what you need to do. You need to pull your car over, put your car in park, take your seatbelt off, turn around and speak to your children, because ladies and gentlemen, you're about to have a teaching moment, because they're going to say, Dad, the gentleman on the radio, the gentleman on the podcast is absolutely lying. You did not have this happen in your age. And you'll be like, yes,
here it is.
Marty, what happened?
Here it is. So
who keeps deleting my stuff in
the late 90s?
By the way,
Tim's moving it. Tim's moving it around. He's helping it, and we've already mentioned that Mario Party stuff, so you can delete that. So anyway, back in the late 90s, when America Online was one of the few ways to connect to the internet, and it was a program that lets you be on the internet, and it had minutes. Like, you paid for a number of minutes every month that you can be on, and if you ran over, there was a great fee. You would have to call a number. Your computer had this thing in it called a modem, and it would have to make a phone call over a phone line to connect to the internet, and would make these sounds that kind of sounded like a computer and a blender making noise at the same time. And from there, if you were lucky, if my local AOL, like the numbers that it offered, there were three. And if anybody in your house picked up the phone when you were on the internet, guess what would happen? It would cut you off. You would get signed off. It would say goodbye, and you would get logged off, and then you'd have to spend another hour trying to get on the internet just so you could take 30 minutes to download a picture of Super Mario. Am I wrong?
No, yeah, that's about right.
Tell me when I start lying. All right?
And it's like 640 by 480. It's not. We're not talking about.
That's right.
4K
Yeah, it's
images
pixelated as all get out. It was the Wild West back then, folks. It was absolutely the Wild West. And some of you who have unlimited access to the internet, you need to go back to that. You need to have minutes. You need to have dial-up numbers. That's internet timeout. You need to come down here to rural West Tennessee, where we get a signal when the wind blows right. All right, that's what you need. That's what I think should happen. If you misbehave on the internet, they send you to a place where there is none, so you can remember what it was like before you were a jerk. There you go. Or maybe you're still a jerk. I don't know. I was doing all that just so Justin had time to move all his crap around. So, but it was edutainment. Jesse, why don't you tell us about these Pokemon Go Elite Raids and why you don't like them?
Yeah, I don't like these. So the Pokemon Go introduced Elite Raids. The first one featured Hoopa Unbound on October 16th with a 2-day notice of this new raid style. The way it worked is at 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, or 5 o'clock on the 15th, the EX level raids, that hasn't been a thing since 2020 because, of the Fire Nation attack or something. The EX level raid eggs spawned on gyms with a 24-hour timer.
Those crazy guys.
So it locks out any other raiding at that gym for 24 hours. When the 24-hour timer reached 0, Hoopa Unbound was available to raid for 30 minutes, where traders had to be there in person to participate. You could not invite remote trainers. Niantic has stated that additional Elite Raids will be taking place during the Season of Light, which is an ongoing event that started in early September and will go through the end of November. Niantic introduced remote raids in 2020 as a response to the pandemic and has been trying to find new ways to remove this functionality without upsetting the players. First, they introduced 4-star raids a few hours after community days, which can't be done with remote raid passes. Now they're using elite raids, where players in rural areas where there aren't many people playing are basically locked out of these raids unless they're able to get enough people together. Like, I was, happened to stumble across a group of people that was 10 accounts attacking these things. So we were able to do, 3 encounters in that 30-minute timer. But, a lot of people were saying, I'm the only one in my town that plays. I'm screwed. So, I liked the concept of remote raids. I wish Niantic would just let people remote raid. Especially when they're introducing these harder to find Pokemon that were only available doing an event that you had to pay $15 for. So a lot of people this is the first time they had a chance to get a Hoopa.
Hoopa-da-ha, and don't stop.
Anyway, so that was my little mini rant.
So much better.
I'm not a fan of these raids, and
Hoop, there it is. Hoop, there it is.
Hoopa, there it is.
Hoopa, there it is.
So we know that they're going to do more in the future. People are wondering what.
Sure, they are.
What
sure
they're going to.
This is great publicity for them, right?
People are wondering what are they going to put in next. A lot of people are thinking they're probably going to put in Gen 1 birds again. I'm like, well, that's stupid. Don't waste this on something like that. What would be probably a good thing to put in and would get me out of my couch and back onto the field to hunt them. The Galarian forms of the Gen 1 birds. They're in the game.
Do that.
They are hard to get a hold of, but like if you do
My
get one
son
to
was
spawn,
very excited.
if you do get one to spawn, they have a high flee rate, and I saw one once and threw one ball at it and was gone. So if they can put these into a raid,
my son was very excited when we got here to the office tonight because he whipped out the Pokemon Go and he found a Haunter because his favorite Pokemon is Gengar, and he was very excited.
All right, well, just wait until next week where Haunter will be a little bit snazzed up, and we'll talk more about that later in the show.
All right. Let's round out our news here with a couple of game release announcements. Today was the big Resident Evil presentation from Capcom, where they outlined some of the things coming to Resident Evil in the future, and they gave us some dates for Resident Evil games cloud versions on Nintendo Switch. By the way, let's just say this. If cloud games cost $100, don't buy them.
Yeah, we've seen where Stadia went with that concept.
Yeah. If cloud games, and there is a cloud game on Switch right now that costs $100, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be that guy.
What cloud game costs $100 on Switch?
Plague Tale Requiem.
That's $100?
Mm.
Get out of here.
I think the full version is like the big version.
The deluxe or something like that.
Yeah, but Resident Evil 2 Cloud will launch on November 11th, so that's very close. It will also be followed by Resident Evil 3 Cloud on November 18th. And then the following month, Capcom will release Resident Evil 7 on December 16th. Resident Evil 7 was the very first cloud game for Nintendo Switch. It did very well in Japan and was kind of the test case for cloud gaming on Switch. So all three of these games will be available on Nintendo Switch by year's end if you're looking to play Resident Evil. Otherwise, just save your money, buy an Xbox, and play them there. Just saying.
Like someone who isn't a heathen.
Justin's going to figure out what that's like here very soon. And guys, that wraps up our news for this week. Let's get a quick ad break from our friends at Manscaped and Gooder.
Ooh, it's hunting season. Today's support of Nintendo NINDADS is brought to you by Manscaped. Now, Mike Myers sure is scary, but the last thing you need to be is hairy this Halloween. Lucky our friends over at Manscaped has launched their 4th generation performance package to make sure your pumpkins gets the ultimate carving experience on this spooky day. Turn your bit-sized treat into a king-size candy bar and join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going over to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code NINDADS, NINDADS. That's 20% off and free shipping. Make the right call this spooky season. It's trick or trim. And of course, by the way, Manscaped also have sent us these amazing, Tim, you messaged me. You're like, Justin, I need you to contact our Manscaped folks because they got this new product that I'm super excited for. Can you get some? Now, Tim, what did they send us?
Well, you guys got them. I didn't get them, but they're the body scrubbers that they sent out.
Yours is in the mail. It should be
in the mail
soon.
I think they call it the body buffer.
The body buffer. Yeah.
I scrubbed my filthy body with mine this morning.
How was that? Tell us more about that experience.
It was wonderful. I used the Manscaped body wash, which smells wonderful, just like their shampoo, which I also love. Here's the deal. The body buffer gets rid of those nasty loofah sponges that build up all kind of mildew and junk in your shower. And you have to buy more of. This is like it's like a rubberized pad with a big knob on the back of it that's kind of like a pop socket almost. It fits between your fingers. And so when you're scrubbing your body, it gives you something to hold on to. And it just it was a fantastic experience. At the end, it's got a little hook at the top. You hook it up on your thing there, let it drip dry, and it's made out of silicone. so it's not like holding on to stuff, and rinses out easy. It's A+. And that box that they sent us came with 2 bottles of body wash and one of those scrubbers. It was really cool. Thank you, Manscaped.
I love it. That's fantastic. Yeah, big thanks to Manscaped. And again, that code is NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. And of course, our second sponsor of this week's show is Gooder. Oh, wow. It was like on cue. You guys just threw these on. Look at those. Wow. You know what?
We didn't even plan this.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, folks. If you're watching a live stream, this wasn't even planned. But let me tell you, this is wow. Are those Gooder glasses? Tim, are those Gooder glasses?
Heck yeah, they are.
Really? Which ones are those?
You go ahead and do your thing. I'll tell you what they are.
No, I
deal with it.
Yeah, deal with it. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we talk about Gooder glasses. The gents are throwing on the sunnies. And of course, when we talk about the sunnies, they're no slip, they're no bounce, they're all polarized. And ladies and gentlemen, if you wear them, I can't guarantee you, but you might be running faster than a leopard who might be trying to attack you, but only if you wear Gooder glasses. If you're not wearing Gooder glasses and a leopard attacks you and you're killed, that's because you probably weren't wearing Gooder glasses. Of course, no leopards, no people were harmed in the making of this commercial, and there's no legally bound agreement as well regarding leopards or Gooder. I have to say that for legal reasons. But ladies and gentlemen, they have amazing products. And of course, these guys have got the sunnies on. We're going to be sporting our sunnies all week while we're all together. But I've got on these. I got these blue light glasses. Gentlemen, 25 hours of gaming. Who's going to be bringing their blue light glasses? All of us. Why? These are going to make sure our eyes are not feeling fatigued, blocks out the blue light. Blue light, as doctors fully aware and have told us, makes you grow a tail. And so we don't want you to grow a tail, and either does Gooder. So we recommend you wear the blue light blockers. I'm going to bring 2 sets actually, just to make sure. So will all these other content creators, the Sean Capris, the Mr. Bad Bit, Dave Moore, all those guys, the Nintendo pals, they're all tired. Their eyes are hurting after 25 hours of stream, and be like, shabam! Our eyes are fine because we're wearing Gooder products, because we haven't had to sit in front of a blue screen. But we have been protected. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to grab either some sunnies or some blue blockers, I want you to head over to Gooder now. They've got a little bit of change here. Use a code. You go gooder.com/NINDADS, gooder.com/NINDADS, or at checkout, use the code NINDADS, and it is free shipping on your entire order. Free shipping on your entire order. And good. Again, big thanks to Gooder and Manscaped for their support. Tim, tell me about your glasses.
These are the Look Ma No Hands, and they're the WG style.
They're crazy. Those are insane.
These make me feel like Macho Man. You know?
I was gonna say those are like Macho Man glasses.
I'll snap into the Slim Jim over there.
If I saw you like walking down an alley, I'd be like, he's gonna kill me. He's from the future and he's gonna murder me. Those are the original the rap OGs. I'm looking at these. I didn't even know these were out. They've also got a new line actually. So if you're into college football, they've got ones to support like the Florida Gators and the Pitbulls and whatever you
Tennessee Vols.
Yeah, all you college football people things. Wow, those are crazy.
I also got these.
Yeah, these are. I mean, sure. Look at. We're gonna be 4 good-looking guys walking down the streets of New York wearing our Gooder glasses.
Wow, the crazy guys!
Well, the crazy guys. See what we get up to with our Gooder glasses, eh? Let's see what happens, ladies. Do you want a bagel, huh? Do you want some pizza, huh? What's going on with Gooder?
Wow,
right?
It just got
escalated
really
so quickly.
It literally ran away.
Was that Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory?
I think it was.
I don't really know what happened. I just pick a voice and I run with it. I don't try. Listen, you know what it was? It was actually Bayonetta from Bayonetta 3. Did you not know that? That's a call, ladies and gentlemen. That's known as a callback. So we talked about it earlier. I just want to make sure y'all knew what a callback was.
It's the new Bayonetta voice.
Oh, big thanks again.
I just realized,
Manscaped and Gooder.
I think I just realized that the glasses that I'm wearing here are called whiskey shots with Satan.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I think I don't know that those are the ones that I picked when they said there's another one though. There's another that's kind of close to this. That's called Professional Respawner. And
Yes.
maybe it's that. I'm not gonna lie. I've got 6 pairs of sunglasses, and I've hidden them all over the places I go because I constantly leave my sunglasses behind. But I will say this: often when I'm wearing these, I get, hey, and I'm not saying this because we're on ad time. I promise that. I literally get people who come up and say, hey, those are really cool sunglasses. And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? Would you like a pair? Because I could save you some money.
Yeah. I get, so here's the funny thing. I work for an insurance company. This yellow is actually like our proper company brand yellow, like, because you have color schemes, right? Which I had no idea about. And then like I'm on calls, everyone's like, oh my gosh, those glasses are amazing. Are they from our online store? And I was like, no, they're not. And now everyone thinks I'm like super like the company guy because I'm wearing branded glasses with our company colors.
Here's the suck up, Justin. Just
I know,
say it.
Right? I was like, well, hold on. If I'm getting extra,
that's what my blue ones are like my work colors too. We have blue.
I got my other ones over here too. I wear the bigger frame ones because I have a fat head. There's the other ones too. Right? Yep. So, which interestingly enough, these are also the blues are also very similar. Actually, I haven't worn these in a while. These are nice. I like these.
I really like. I'm just going to be honest with you. I really like the single lens ones, the VRGs. And I have the Voight Kampf Vision ones, and those used to be my favorites until I purchased or I received the Mach G Kitty Hawkers ray blockers, which are neon blue and pink.
The name alone is awesome.
Orangey yellow polarized. Yep, that's that one. Those are my favorites.
I love these. I love them because of the mirrored lens.
Yeah, that's the VRG right there.
Yep.
I live in a world where I recognize that I am not cool enough to wear those glasses.
No, you are. You are. You can totally wear them.
I really don't feel like I am.
Like, I think you could get away with them.
I've put on some like the other pair of glasses I've got, and like I get a lot of feedback from my wife and my children, and it's not supportive in the way I'd like it to be to make me feel good enough that I could wear those. Do you know what I mean?
You can wear these.
You know what I say? Haters are gonna hate. Get out of my way.
That's true.
You look so cool. They're afraid they're gonna lose you.
I mean, look at these.
That's why
these just scream cool. Or ZZ Top trying to hold on to the heyday of my career.
That's also true. I love all of it.
That's when Jesse puts them on.
That's why I call these my ZZ Top glasses too.
Hey, but again, big thanks to Gooder and Manscaped for their support. We have gone way too long on an ad break.
Absolutely. We're just
showing off all the glasses we got.
I mean, the Nintendo Dads podcast never goes off the rails. Ever.
Never.
Never.
I mentioned I love these little bags.
Okay. So
these little bags are awesome.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get out of here. Let's discuss, shall we? All right. 6 years ago today, gentlemen. 6 years ago today. Do you believe it? We saw the very first preview for the Nintendo Switch, previously called the NX. I don't think that we can argue one bit that this system, this console, has changed the way that we play video games. It has changed the way that people see Nintendo. It has changed the world of video gaming. It is now often imitated but not duplicated, the Nintendo Switch. We learned we could play indoors. We learned we could play outdoors. We could play it on a train. We could play it on a plane. We can play it on a ship. We can play it with a clip. We can also play it while
taking a
ship. While taking a ship.
Yes.
We also learned that we can play it at a rooftop party with a woman named Karen.
Remember when Karen was a name that we all didn't cringe about hearing?
Yep.
Oh, the first Karen that was all
bless her heart. Bless her heart. So we've got a couple questions here as we reminisce for a little bit about our favorite. I will say my favorite Nintendo console of all time at this point. My favorite Nintendo console of all time, barring the SNES. Yes,
Yeah, can I go first for this? I see the question.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you
the reason
remember?
Is I think my wife is going to
announcement?
message me and be like, I have to pick her up, so I need to step away. So here's what I remember about it. So I was actually on a work trip in Boston. And I remember seeing the tweet of like, tomorrow at 2:00 or whatever it was, we're going to do the reveal, the big, like, we're going to drop the trailer, right? We're going to do, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like in a meeting at that time. And I really, really want to go. I have to see this thing. Like, so I remember like watching my clock, seeing what time it was. And like, it kind of went over and I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. I think we should all have a 15-minute break right now. And I really kind of advocated for a break. Everyone's like, okay, I guess, like, sure, not a problem. We'll go. So like everybody like went to the bathroom or head their way. And I grabbed my phone, ran to a conference room, closed the door, and was like watching this thing. And I was like, oh, like, and then like watching everything happen. And I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. This is crazy. And then like, I had to go back to this meeting and I'm literally just thinking about this console,
You couldn't
what it can do,
kind
of like replaying everything in my head. And I just was like, and they're like, so what do you think, Justin? I was like, I think it's great. I don't know what you're talking about right now, but I remember like that was such a.
I'm watching it right now as we're talking, so I want to be able to talk about this fresh.
I think the other part of it that really stood out for me was in that commercial. He's, like we're seeing him play, and we're also seeing at that point we're seeing Breath of the Wild footage, right? Which is also holy, like we're like, oh my gosh, and then he puts down his controller, walks over and picks it up, and as it disconnects from the dock, you can see the screen transition.
The dog barks. The dog wants to go out.
Yeah, and
so at this point, we've not seen a controller.
Yeah,
we've not seen the console, but we get the first logo. Like we get the click for the first time.
And I think like that, like when we saw that in that transition, and all of a sudden we're like, it can't be that easy. Right. It literally, the iconic snap. Right. And all of a sudden we're like, it can't be that easy. Like it was just like he took it off the dock and all of a sudden now it's in handheld. Like we were all mind blown. And I remember like when I got my Switch, coming home and like doing that, like in dock, out dock, in dock, in dock, like out in, and people are like, what are you doing? I was like, this is incredible. And putting that snap and the portability of it, like it was just an absolute mind bender. Right. And it just melted you.
We've got the second scene of the commercial is the flight, where the two, the male and female meet up. She's playing the Switch. He puts in a cartridge. They sit down and begin to play together. He's getting on the plane. As we're going through this, he shows the kickstand for the first time in the headphone dock. He's playing Skyrim. Tim, what is like when you first saw this? Like, what do you remember about this announcement?
I remember how disappointed I was because it was nothing like what the Nintendo dads and Adam drew out on the episode where you guys were talking about what the NX was going to be. No, it was fantastic because it was just as Justin was saying, my mind was just blown, and I just kept watching. I watched it several times just to see, like, is this for real? Is this going to do what it's going to do? But I don't care. This is freaking awesome because it's everything that I wanted when the Game Boy came out. Like, to be able to use the same cartridge to play on the go or on my TV. So like when because I mean, when you're a kid and you're playing the Game Boy and stuff like that, I'm sure many people have said, oh, it'd be cool if I could play this on my TV before you could, by using the Super, Game Boy or whatever.
Well, the Super Game Boy was a game changer back in the day.
Right.
I remember that.
And that was so kind of like towards that. Right. But still, I was like, even then it was like, before that came out, it was like, oh, it'd be so cool if I could just take my SNES cart and plug it into mobile device, and be able to.
And just to be fair, Sega had tried this, right? Sega tried this with the Nomad.
Yeah.
And the Nomad tanked bad, mainly because it was an absolute battery hog. right?
Well,
Like it could.
Everybody's
just
got to
ate
try it
batteries
once,
for
right?
breakfast.
First, there's got to be one company that has to take the hit.
And they had the idea. I mean, you know,
Stadia.
at that time you're saving.
Excuse me.
At that time you're saving cartridges, right?
Yes.
So you could put the game back and forth, but not with the console itself. Jesse, what do you remember about this announcement? What got you excited about this?
I several times over the past several years, I went back through old show notes of Roundtable, trying to listen to certain episodes. I know I just somewhere in there I described what I wanted as a console. And the Switch was 100% what I described. I just can't find evidence of that anymore. And I wish I could, because that would be a fun clip to play.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was exactly what I wanted. I wanted, I knew it was, Wii U tried something, and you can't play portably, but it's still, you're tethered to the system. But this flipped it so you can go anywhere you want and still play your games. And I was all in on it on day one.
The other part of it that worked really well was they tied that Imagine Dragon song to it, right? And it just worked so well.
The Believer?
Yeah, exactly.
Those were the early commercials. This is a different song.
Oh, was this a different one? Okay.
And this one, it's not I don't think it's Imagine Dragons.
Actually, Mega Dragon put it in her chat saying it was White Denim, and the song was called Ha Ha Ha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, looking back on this 6 years out, you need to go back and watch it again if you haven't. Okay, I'm watching it right now. I am really surprised at how much of it they gave away in this very first teaser. Guys, look, we saw Breath of the Wild. We saw the controllers. We saw the dock. We saw the system itself. We see the Pro Controller. We see Skyrim. We see Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, best-selling Nintendo Switch game of all time. What's that?
Was Odyssey in there?
Odyssey, yes. Karen is playing Mario Odyssey, which at the time none of us knew what that was. We're like, that's a new Mario game. She's playing that. NBA 2K support was in here. Amiibo functionality was hinted at because she's got Amiibo next to the dock. Splatoon 2 is shown off in this. Also, local multiplayer using multiple consoles is shown off. There's a ton of, like, as you go back and look at it, like shared Joy-Con play, like breaking off the Joy-Cons and passing them to people. There's a ton of stuff that's shown off here that honestly
they had to though.
That, like, 3 minutes and 37 seconds, guys. 3 minutes and 37 seconds is all that we get, but they showed so much. I think this is one of the most effective console announcement videos of all time. Just the energy is there. The spectacle is there. They put those switches in. Now they're playing Splatoon against each other. And that this is, like, you immediately know this is a new Splatoon game. Nobody knows when it's going to come out, but, like, it's just, I don't know, the whole spectacle of it. And one thing I've noticed is about 5 or 6 times through it in 3 minutes and 27 seconds or 37 seconds, you get that switch pop snap logo thing. You get it like 6 times. They wanted to be sure that you knew exactly what this thing was called.
The best part was finding out day one when you brought it home and you plugged in those controllers, those Joy-Cons,
and it did that.
And it did the snap.
Yes.
And remember, this is only 5 years after the 3DS launch, where it was hard for them to market that because they can't show 3D on a YouTube video or in a commercial. You had to physically see it see it.
This was this perfectly showed off everything that
this showed off everything they needed to show off.
Right. So how has this console changed the way that you game?
I know when it launched, I did the majority of my playing handheld because my kid would be playing something on the big TV. And now that my eyesight's getting worse, I have a hard time seeing especially small text. I think it was Dragon Quest Builders was the game that really made me. need to start playing on the TV. Now I'm playing almost everything on on the big TV. So but because of the duality nature of the system, I'm able to do that.
Yeah. And I'm the opposite. In the beginning, I was playing almost everything on the TV, and now I'm playing everything handheld because I have to. It's just when I'm fitting gaming in. What about you, Justin? What about you, Tim? How does this change the way you play?
I think one of the things that definitely made it changed was a lot more. Like it was I always took it with us. Like whenever we went somewhere, like so when we were living in Ireland, we were traveling. Every single trip we took, I brought the Switch, right? And I didn't bring the dock, just the Switch. And okay, so we're in the hotel room. Like I remember we were in Barcelona for Christmas, and it was kind of like, oh, what do you want to do today? You guys want to play the Switch? And we had just downloaded like Overcooked. And so we all sat around with Joy-Cons, and I brought some extra sets of Joy-Cons and played Overcooked as a family. So it allowed for us to take gaming really anywhere we went, right? And just the taking off a controller, boom, you've got a controller, I've got a controller, the Joy-Cons. So I think that's it. I think the other part it did really, really well is it made couch co-op experiences so much more accessible, right? It's not uncommon here of like, we're going to have, like last night we had some friends over, and they're like, hey, can we play some games? Yeah, what do you want to play? Hey, does Boomerang Fu have up to 6 players? Yeah, here you go, everyone. Right. And so it just and the other nice part about it was it wasn't like I needed a separate pro controller. Here you go, just use a controller sideways, right? It's super accessible, super easy. And so I think it removes a barrier of entry. My mom came over for Thanksgiving and we played Overcooked with her. She's not a gamer, but like, here you go, here's the controller. It's simple buttons, right? And so I think it just created accessibility for the entire family, but also allowed for like people like us, I'm going to use like the capital G gamer to be able to say, yeah, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to play some hardcore, bigger games, more big, gamer games that we want to end up playing, and they have that accessibility. So, gentlemen, I need to jump off for a couple moments. I need to pick up my wife, but I will be back. All right.
Awesome. Tim, what about you?
For me, kind of along the same lines there was being able to, like, once we fully bought into it as a family and we're able to get an extra dock or two here and there, being able to not only play that on the go, but to be able to take it to another TV in the house and be able to play co-op, like Justin was saying, anywhere. Like, oh, can we do it in the main living room? Sure, let's put it on the TV there, and then we play together as a family. Oh, it's just me and my wife playing. Oh, we'll put it on the TV in our room and we'll just play there. Or if it's just me, I just dock it and put it on the computer and then play it there, especially if I was going to record something. So the flexibility of that system is the biggest thing for me, and I play it since day one, mostly on the go. But something I just also realized too in a couple instances is that the Nintendo Switch, watching that video, watching that announcement compared to announcements like even the latest systems like the PS5 and the Xbox, sure, those were great announcements, but I didn't have the same awestruck that I had when I watched the Switch one because of the abilities that it could do. Like, great, yeah, the PS5 is going to have awesome graphics as usual. Next system, that's what it's going to be. Plus, all the things in the back end that makes those graphics all great. And then, of course, Xbox. When they talk about their system and what all that can do. But it's just a bigger console, better graphics, and you plug it in and you play. Where this was the next step in the, Wii U didn't work out. So here we got something better. We heard you or understood what the biggest thing was. You wanted to be able to take that gamepad and play it wherever you wanted to without being so close to the base. Well, here you go. The whole thing's in the gamepad, and that's the Switch. And then seeing it actually work when we got it home in March, to be able to just, plug it in, pop it in, then take it out. I don't know how many times I did it either, but just it was so cool just to see it pop in, and like any excuse I had to be able to take it back out and go play it somewhere or show it off to somebody was pretty cool.
Right? Yeah, I remember that very first day, getting the system and getting the Breath of the Wild collector's edition not the one with the sword, but just the middle one. There were like 3 editions of that, and
Yes.
getting 1-2 Switch, and also picking up snipper clips. Because I wanted to download something. I wanted to download something from the eShop, and I remember, if you remember, like the first day you booting the system up, going to the eShop, there's like 3 games, right? Right? There's like there's all of Nintendo's offerings, but then there's like 3 other games. It was like Snipper Clips and I Am Setsuna and
Fast RMX.
Yep. Or maybe that was week 2 or week 3. There was something else.
It did come later. Yeah.
A puzzle game.
I thought I had that one.
Yeah, it was World of Goo. World of Goo was available day 1. Or pretty soon after. I mean, there were several things that came pretty soon after that, but I just remember like going home, and we spent like all day playing the Switch, right? Like we tried out Breath of the Wild, and we tried out we tried out 1-2 Switch, which is probably the most we played that game. Was the first week.
That was the one we all did in my family. That was the
right?
one where
but, I mean, it was a good showcase. It still should have been a pack-in. But anyway, it should have been an on console pack-in. That way they didn't have to do the box. They didn't have to do anything. It was on the console.
Yes.
But I remember like we took it everywhere. Like we played it at Cheddar's. We played it at while we were waiting for our food. We played it outside on a blanket. We played it in the car. We played it waiting in line. We took the Switch everywhere. It was super awesome in those days to this freedom, right?
Yeah.
But for me, the way it's changed the way I game is just that I can take it, like I've got my case, I've got this grip, and it goes everywhere. Like this case, it goes in the case, it goes in my backpack every day. And so like if I've got 10 minutes downtime, I pull it out and I can play Mario, or I can play another level of Mega Man or something like that. And just it's like immediately it made me want everything on the Switch, like every game that could possibly come out. Because why? Because I'm not bound to anything. I'm no longer, I've said this on the show before, and I will continue to say this. I don't see how Nintendo goes away from this concept in the future. I think they have to stay hybrid because it's now ingrained. Most of the success of this is because it's able to go anywhere, right?
Right.
So I think that the last question that we're looking at here is, how has it changed the gaming world? It shook everything up. Yes, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S are awesome consoles. I own a PS5. I can't tell you the last PS5 game I bought because I'm buying everything for the Switch. It will probably be God of War Ragnarok, because Gotham Knights got piss poor scores. Like it got a 5 out of 10. And I was excited for that.
That's why I have it. The PS5 is for those one-off games that I know won't be on the Switch that I do want, like Ragnarok. I'm going to play everything on this. Guys, look, I've got Persona 5 at home for free. It's on, like, it came with the PS5 on the PlayStation Plus collection. Yeah. What did I buy today? Persona 5 Royale. Why? Because I want to play it here. Because I know it's 100-hour plus
actually
game,
have a
hour plus game.
Right. I might actually have the ability to finish the game on the Switch. Right. I'll play more than 10 hours of it here. I would not have beaten Live Alive at all if it was a home console game only. That's why I want the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. Put them on here. Right. I don't give one. Somebody, a friend of mine, sent me today on Facebook. They sent me the Final Fantasy 16 announced trailer. You know what my response was? Look, it looks great. I don't care. Put the Pixel remasters on console. Stop it. This is stupid. It's money on the table, Square Enix. Anyway, how do you think it changed the gaming world?
Go ahead, Jesse.
Oh.
You got one?
Both of you.
I mean, you said it well. I mean, it's you being able to play a console level game on the go. It's not like we had the 3DS. We've had all these portable systems before. But you couldn't play the same game that you could play on a console on a 3DS or anything less, or vice versa. Or you could play a DS game on the Wii U, but obviously, it's a DS game.
Yeah, sure.
And I know it's not as powerful as those, even a PS4 at times, but it's powerful enough if you have the choice. If the game is in both places, the Switch and the PlayStation, we always say, if you're about the graphics, if you want the visuals and you want the power, then you go play it where those are. Don't go to the Switch. You'll be disappointed. But if you're like what Marty was saying, I want to be able to play this on the go because it's a long game.
Port it all.
Port it.
Yeah,
I'll
remember
play it there. I don't
the
care about the
original
graphics.
Persona 5 was a PS3 game. So yeah, the enhanced version should still be playable on the Switch without any problems.
And actually, I said I don't care about the graphics. I do care about the graphics. They have to be playable. Let's put it that way. It's got to be.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah,
it's got to be fun and playable.
Stable frame rate.
Yeah.
It may be 30, but as long as it's stable.
Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic, guys. Fantastic look back at the Switch.
I wanted to throw in the three of us each had similar but different stories. There are millions of other stories out there by millions of other people. So that's how it changed the gaming world.
Yeah, right. That's right. What is it now? How many sold? 100 something million?
That has brought so many people back to the game, just like the Wii did in a way where people were mad about that. Meaning crazy, they wanted it. So with the Switch, it brought a lot of people back that didn't get the Wii U or skipped that one or didn't play since the GameCube in some cases, So it was something a lot of people came back to. So it changed the gaming world there.
Which reminds me, quarterly numbers will probably come out when we're in New York.
Ooh, that'll be fun to talk about live.
But I think the Switch is ramped up to outsell PS4.
Absolutely. I think it's going to. Lifetime sales will be larger than the PS4. It'll be that won't make it the number one selling console of all time, will it? Or will it?
Kicking out handhelds, maybe.
Okay, because you have to kick out DS.
Oh, PS2.
Right?
PS2 was like 150.
Yeah, PS2. It honestly could outdo the PS2. I don't know.
Depends on how long they stretch this life cycle for.
That's right. Well, fantastic question, fantastic stories. We would love to hear your Nintendo Switch story. Send it in via email at nintendodads@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter or one of our other social networks like Instagram or Facebook. Let us know your story. We'll feature it on the show next week as we continue to celebrate, I guess, the reveal anniversary of the Nintendo Switch. Guys, let's talk about some events, shall we? All right. Tim, why don't you tell us about these events and then take us into PokéMinutes as well?
I will do that. All right. The next Splatfest, Splatoon X and Pokemon, which is coming up in February, November 11th at 4 p.m. to Sunday, November 14th at 4 p.m. And that's Pacific time. I think the question was in here too to ask Marty and Justin, but they're not here because we already know. Jesse and I already know which types we would pick. But
I think they're both planning on coming back, so we can.
I know. We'll ask them then later. So, but yeah, anyways, don't forget about that. The next Splatfest coming up. We also have our Discord community events, which is the dinner table, which is every third Friday of the month, which is tomorrow night or tonight, depending on when you're listening to this, or you might have missed it if you're listening to this past Friday, October 21st at 10 p.m. Eastern time. But of course, that's where the community comes in to our Discord channel and in voice chat, and we just chit chat there and have a good time. So lots and lots of stories. In fact, I know Chris HL was in our chat talking about a few of the stories about Satan's bikini wax and stuff like that. So if you want to know about that,
the fan fiction lore.
Yeah, the fan fiction lore is It's pretty hilarious. So, and Choco Tacos are involved. And now it's continued, it's spilled over into the Discord channels and the chats and stuff, about the lore behind why the Choco Tacos have now gone away. So
they've been discontinued by the parent company.
Right. Because of time travel.
Trying to remember what the parent company
because
is.
of time travel. It was a time travel thing that happened. That's why we don't have those anymore.
Klondike.
Anyways,
Klondike is the parent company.
Yes. And also we announced that the breakfast table will be happening, and that'll happen every second Wednesday of the month. And we'll have our first breakfast table Wednesday, November 9th at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And that's basically the same thing as dinner table, but early in the morning, where we all can have coffee, take a break if you're at work or just beginning your day or whatever. If you have the time and can get away, you could come join us. In order to do that and to join either one of those tables, you have to be a Patreon or a Twitch subscriber. Again, if you have Amazon Prime, you get one Twitch subscription per month. And we'd be honored if you give it to us. So if you give it to us, then you can get into our Discord and you can join our calls for those two things. So don't forget about those. And then don't forget about Extra Life Game Day on November 5th, which is we just talked about in our pre-show about getting all excited about meeting up, and Justin talking about how we get to touch each other in real life.
I can't believe that already become a thing.
Anyways, go to our webpage, nintendodads.org, and click on our Extra Life link in the upper right-hand corner of the page, or search for the Nintendo Dads, all one word, on the Extra Life page. Nintendo Dads 2022 is the team name, and you can join our team or donate or follow along and get to hang out with us for 24 hours on November 5th from 10 a.m. Eastern to 10 a.m. Eastern Sunday, the following
5
Sunday.
hours.
So 25 hours, yes.
Because daylight savings time ends.
Right. Yeah, we get to do 25 hours.
So we get, I think, with there'll be 2 1 o'clock hours. I think that's how it works.
Right. And I mean, it doesn't say here, but a couple days before that, we celebrate our 400th episode as well. So lots going on that weekend around November 5th. So stay tuned for more information on that stuff. Or like I said, join our team, or you can also donate, help us reach our goal of $5,000 or more. We love to blow that out of the water. All right. With that, let's move on to Jesse's PokéMinutes.
Pikachu! I hate you all.
Pokemon Go will have a global map refresh, the first in about 3 years, to update maps with old roads removed, new buildings added, etc. As part of the refresh, Pokemon spawn locations will also change, ranging from more spawn points in rural areas to high spawn areas getting more smoothed out. An exact date for this refresh isn't yet known, but sounds like they're planning on doing it sometime this or next month. Halloween 2022 Part 2 event details. Part 2 of this event will go from October 27th at 10 a.m. through November 1st at 10 a.m. local time. Vulpix, Gengar, Pumpkaboo, and Gourgeist will appear in the wild wearing spooky festival costumes. The timed research and special research in the Lavender Town remix music that I'm playing now that started in Part 1 will still be in play during Part 2. Dia de Muertos event will take place from November 1st at 10 a.m. through November 2nd at 8 p.m. local time. Duskull will be wearing a Semachel crown. I hope I didn't butcher that pronunciation. That will be appearing in the wild. During the event, lure modules and incense will last 90 minutes, and a 2x catch candy will be awarded. There will be a collection challenge for trainers to complete to get an encounter with a Alolan Marowak and receive a Puffin and an incense. Finally, November Pokemon GO Community Day will be held on November 12th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. This Community Day will feature Teddiursa. Trainers who evolve Ursaring before 10 p.m. will get an Ursaluna that knows charged attack high horsepower. Ursaluna is new as of the Legends Arceus game. Ursa Ring can only evolve when there is a full moon in-game. The full moon will be up from 2 p.m. on the 12th through 6 a.m. on the 13th. Once the moon sets, you will only be able to evolve your Ursa Ring to Ursa Luna when the moon is full again. The community day will have a $1 ticket available for the special research story, A Sweet Snack. During the event, 3 times XP, 2 times candy, and 2 times chance for Candy XL for catching Pokemon. Lore modules and incenses will last 3 hours. Trades will require half the normal Stardust, and trainers can perform 2 special trades until 10 p.m. Ursa Ring will appear in 4-star raids from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. after the community day. These encounters cannot be joined remotely, and when an Ursa Ring has been defeated, Teddy Ursa will spawn around the gym that hosted the raid for 30 minutes. That's it.
Time to go on to what we've been playing. All right, Marty, you've been away a long time, so you've been playing everything, right?
Yeah. So well, if we're going to start with me, let's start with talking about Mario plus Rabbids, Sparks of Hope. We got a really advanced look at this game. It was kind of odd. We don't normally get games this early, but we had the game 10 days before release, and we're embargoed and weren't able to say anything about it until the 17th, which is when we were able to put up our 1-hour preview on a YouTube channel. So you can go over there and look at that. It's the first hour of the game, as well as be able to tease it on social media. Guys, look, here's the deal. I'm blown away by this game. It's really, really good. I'm not blowing smoke. Take everything that you knew about Mario and Rabbids and kind of turn it on, not on its head, but on its side. Just it's different, but it's more. It's kind of the same. If you remember the first game, grid based, right? Tactical. And this one is still tactical. It's still cover system and all that, but each character kind of gets a zone, like a bubble, that they're able to move in. Every character can now dash. Every character can now do the double jump or the team jump. And the team jump now is assisted by a Beepo, who turns into a helicopter and lets you hover over enemies. And that factors in later on. Like some characters are able to shoot while they're holding on to Beepo. Some characters are able to stomp from being above other characters and cause extra damage. Dashes can go through multiple characters. Dashes can also flip over some characters and let you be able to pick them up and throw them, like bombs or Goombas. There's some Goombas who have cooking pots on their heads, and they're immune to fire and attacks, and you have to throw them off the edge of the map to destroy them. And there's a lot going on. Whereas in the first one, characters, I would say there were some characters in the first game that had unique weapons. In this one, your character's class is determined by the weapon that they have. Mario carries dual blasters. That never changes. There's no upgrading those, except you upgrade the skill tree, but you don't buy new blasters with higher power ratings and different things like that. It's just different skins, so you can make them look different. But each character has kind of a different way of attacking. Like Mario has those dual blasters. Rabbid Peach has a rocket launcher that goes over cover and bombs enemies on the other side.
That is so fun to play.
The Rabbid Luigi, this is a huge difference. I think in the last one, he had like the big bazooka. In this one, he has something called the Disruptor, which is a frisbee that hits multiple enemies, which is really fun to play. Rabbid Mario has these gauntlets that shoot, and he's like an up-close brawler character. And then there's Edge, who is the mysterious character that we've been seeing with the kind of Cloud Strife Buster Sword, and that's what he uses. And he can shoot, like he could throw it like a projectile, like shoot it, or he can use it up close. And y'all, it's really good. The only thing I didn't really get about it was when you start the game, it really just kind of drops you in the story, and there's a ton of details that have happened that you don't really have access to until you access like the first memory in the game. And there's like these memories that you can buy that tell you more about the places you are, the enemies you're fighting. And then you notice you can go back and kind of be like, oh, it's the story so far. Well, I just don't understand why they made that choice. The other weird choice is the Rabbids talk now.
Yeah.
So
they
all have different voices.
I'm not used to that yet.
And that's explained, but they don't explain it in the game. They explain it in one of those memories. So it's kind of a weird change in the beginning. The combat, although I really like it, is hard to get for me, it was hard to get used to. And maybe it's because I know Mario and Rabbids has been out forever, but I just finished the Donkey Kong DLC and then got into this game. Like, I knew it was coming. I didn't know we were going to get such an advanced copy. I thought I had a little bit of time, then everything going on with my dad and everything else. Like, it put the brakes on that for a few days, but we got the Rabbids code on October 10th, and October 12th, I finished Kingdom Battles DLC. And so the grid-based, whatever, it was very ingrained in my mind. So when we got into this, like the bubble, you can move anywhere in it. You can take cover and do all that. You can vault over low cover now. It broke my brain for a minute. The other big change is this. If you remember in Kingdom Battle, you could shoot and then move to set something else up. Now you must move, then shoot. So like when you shoot, you are locked down for the rest of that turn. So if you, and each character has, so your loadout, you have your attack. You also have a special ability, which for Mario is Hero Sight. If you remember the first game, it's where like if something moves, it comes in his range of sight, he's going to shoot it, right? That's his.
And he has a big radius.
Not as big as Luigi's, who now has a bow and is a sniper. Luigi can pretty much hit anybody across the entire map. It's just not the way his damage works is the further away someone is, the more he hits, the harder he hits. So he's very ineffective up close. So you don't want him to get trapped or stuck. What was I going to say? It's just gone. We were talking about, you have to move, then shoot. That can leave you vulnerable because you have 2 action points per turn. So those action points can be spent in a number of ways. You can attack with your weapon. You can use a spark, which is the Rabbid Lumas, and they all have different abilities. They have a passive ability, which like in the case of, there's one called Pyrostar. The Pyrostar's passive ability is to make you immune to burn attacks. Like you'll still take the damage, but you won't run around burnt after that. But their ability is to supercharge your attack with burn capability, because now your weapons don't inherently have those things like they did in the first game. Like if you remember buying games in the first one, like you could buy them and they'd have different effects. Like, it's a 40% chance of bounce or a 40% chance of vamp or honey whatever. There's nothing like that attached to weapons. It's all attached to the sparks, and each character can hold one spark. It's like their companion. So that takes an action point. Your special attack or special ability takes an action point. Then you have 1 point for dash until you upgrade it. So you can dash one enemy. That does not take an action point. And you have team jump. You have one of those, which does not take an action point. But your last one is they now have items. And items can do a multitude of things. Items can heal you. Items can cause like POW block effects and attack in a radius. You can put up shields with items, all kinds of different things like that. But you'll find yourself using these abilities more often, like Mario's Hero Sight. Rabbid Peach has a heal ability that she triggers via her cell phone.
Of course.
It's a joy. The cutscenes are beautifully animated. It's all done in the Snowdrop engine. If you like tactical shooters or you love Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, you need to try this out. If you've never played Kingdom Battle, Tim, then here's what I would do. I would seriously advise you to play it first, simply because this is a direct continuation of a story. And if you're not familiar with it, it kind of does just drop you in the middle of it. And you're like, what the heck? Why are there Rabbids that are dressed like Mario and Peach? And why is this all, it's crazy going on.
Why isn't Peach calling an exterminator?
Right. It's just, there's a lot of, also, I want to say that, like, in the old one, like the battles, the worlds were explorable, but pretty linear, like you'd go and it'd be like, there'd be a flag and it would say 1, and this was the first battle of the area. And then you'd go on to 2. It does not do that in this one. Battles are triggered by roaming enemies around a map, and you have this fully explorable map. So the first area that you go to, Beacon Beach, is this beach where it's raining, and you've got to figure out how to get rid of the rain and bring back the sun. And there's dungeon areas you can go to and all kinds of other, so there's tons of things to do. There's side quests, there's unlockables. I've spent probably 8 to 10 hours in the game, and I only just started the second area. So there's a lot of content here, and there's stuff in Beacon Beach that I did not do yet, because there was like one battle where you had to, and the battles still have different objectives. Like you can eliminate all the enemies. That's one of them, or reach the destination. That's another. And then one of them is there's the stuff that, like, the bad guy is Cursa, and it's causing this stuff to appear around everywhere called dark mist. And it's honestly, it's kind of a little like the stuff in Breath of the Wild. All right. Like the what do you call it? You know what I'm talking about.
Malice.
The malice. Yeah, it's a lot like malice, because it has eyes and you have to kill the eyes. And so in some of the maps, it's like destroy all the dark mess eyes and you'll be done.
The first time they said dark mist, it kind of reminded me of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. And it kind of looks a little like Kingdom Hearts. It's inky, gooey mess stuff. But anyway,
definitely influenced then, huh?
highly, like, I don't know, like 9 out of 10, recommend this one. I think it's a Game of the Year contender. Just because, for me at least, I don't know if it came out in enough time to be on those lists, but if they're talking about God of War Ragnarok being on Game of the Year lists, then it did. I think that it could be a Game of the Year contender, definitely for the Switch Game of the Year. So go run and buy this game. It's fantastic. It really is. The music, the art, all of it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I only just got to the beach stage, so I did the tutorial and so far, and here are the things that. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, as you got done, I thought the tutorial was very well done.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's like hidden in the game. Like you feel like you're playing the game, but it's teaching you some of these new concepts as well.
Yeah, it doesn't do it very in your face talky. It does make sense and how they roll things out to you. So it does. Some of the things that kind of took me off guard a little bit, like Mario and Peach don't really voice. They're not fully voice acted. They just have their squeaks and whines and whatever, even though they have text dialogue. But Beepo is fully voiced. I don't know why is that. That just sounds weird.
There's like partially dialogue lines for a lot of characters, right? So like each level seems to have this warden type person that's there, and he has some weird voice lines. But I mean, if you know the last game, and you know the kind of, like, there's a certain type of humor that Rabbids games have, and it's in line with that.
Okay. And then another thing I noticed, and I like this change, because in the first game, you're not moving Mario, you're moving the Roomba, and everyone's following it. But in this game, you're controlling Mario.
Yeah.
So when you're making turns and stuff, it feels more natural.
It does. It feels. I think the extra time that it took to get this game to market, to develop and everything, they really tried to make it feel more like a Mario game. But at the same time, one of the things I've noticed is that in Kingdom Battle, it felt more like Mario's world with Rabbids mixed in. This world feels more like Rabbid World with Mario mixed in. There's a lot more non-Mario Rabbids, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. I'll find out more when I get that far into the game.
Well, I'm just talking about like in the enemy design and different things like that. Like,
Yeah, like the tutorial enemies were more just like cloaked
random enemies,
things with like a skull mask or at least a skull face.
But you
look
end up
a Mario.
fighting. Like I know in the first area, you're introduced to Goombas and then Bob-ombs. And I'm sure more Mario enemies coming down the line probably, but we'll see. Like somebody said, I'm sure you've played a lot of it. And I was like, well, I mean, got through the first area. That was about it. And then I had an 8-page paper to write this week. So, and I just got it done today. So, and I've still got a little work to do on it tomorrow, but I'm going to have time to play. I also want to talk about a fighting game that we got access to this week called Them's Fightin' Herds. This is a animal fighting game. I don't know how to describe it. Like you can either play as there's cows and llamas and deer and ponies. And the big scoop on this game is it was initially developed as a My Little Pony Friendship is Magic based fighting game. And you can definitely tell it as you look at it because the designs in this game, in the initial development and in this game, were actually developed by Lauren Faust, who is the co-creator or brainchild behind Friendship is Magic. And so that art style is maintained here. It's a beautiful, beautiful game. And it's actually a pretty deep fighter. There's combos, there's special moves, there's all kinds of things you can do there. There's DLC characters coming later on, and there's actually a pretty involved story as well. What's really neat about it is the story mode. You're gonna have the 2D fighting style in it, but the whole game is built with a pixel art map and pixel art characters that you navigate around in to go through the story. And there's secrets you can find and all kinds of things like that. It's actually a pretty charming game. And so $20 for the regular version. There is a version that gets you all the DLC and extras. It's $39.99. But if you're a fan of fighting games or My Little Pony, then I think you should check this one out. It's pretty cute. I've played as a llama named Paprika in our video. And it's really cool. I don't know. Like, of course, they did not let it be made as a My Little Pony Friendship is Magic fighting game. There was a huge DCMA takedown over that, right?
I think I talked about it maybe a month ago.
And so it's really cool to see, though, the story of these people who were passionate about that becoming a fighting game and then finding a way to make it work. And it almost like, I don't know, like I was just playing it and trying it out, and I was like, do y'all remember that really bizarre dinosaur fighting game from the 90s called Primal Rage?
Primal Rage, yeah.
Yes.
That was built on like N64 technology, right?
Yeah, it was really good. And it kind of gave me vibes from that because I was like, you're fighting as dinosaurs in that game. And then this is your fighting as a llama who hits things with its butt.
These aren't anthropomorphic animals. These are animals.
These are real cartoon animals.
They're on all fours.
Hilarious.
They're real cartoon animals.
They're real cartoons. That's right.
Becca's asking who you're meaning.
Right now I've only tried Paprika, so I think it's going to be like I was going through the characters. I was like, ooh, llama. So the deer. There's a deer too that looks really interesting, and you start off the story playing. The cow, and it's got like it's named for a state It may be Alabama or something like that because the dad's name is Texas and the mom's name is Minnesota. And she talks. She's like, and she ends all her sentences in "don't you know." So there's some humor there. It's really good. So I think you should definitely check it out. The last game I played in the break was I picked up, and I'm going to say this wrong probably. I think it's NieR Automata, the end of YoRHa edition. I don't know what's going on in this game, but it's wonderful. It's fantastic. Like there's like I started playing it and it was a shmup. It was a shooting game, and then it became a 3D beat 'em up, and then it became parts of it 2D, and then I was fighting a giant transforming crane and like shooting missiles back at it and controlling it to saw its own arm off. And I'm hooked. I'm in. I see why people like this game so much on other systems. And y'all, look, this game right here puts all cloud games to shame. If they can fit this on a Nintendo Switch, come on. They can do cloud. Like this makes the Kingdom Hearts version, especially the PS2 Kingdom Hearts games, it makes Capcom look pretty bad. You know, or I'm sorry, Square Enix. It makes Square Enix look pretty bad if they can do this with NieR. So I think that and here's the thing on the Switch, it's a budget price. So you don't have to pay $60 for this game. I think it was like $39.99. So faithful translation on the go, great. The only thing I didn't like about it was I felt like the controls were a bit sluggish for what you're trying to do. Like it didn't feel as fast and snappy as I wanted it to, but also like I'm trying to figure out why the robot's wearing a maid outfit with a really short skirt. Like why?
Because a man made it.
Well, yeah, probably. Like it's kind of like everybody freaking out because Xenoblade 3 got swimsuit costumes. I'm like, really, guys? Really? They're going to go out and fight some giant turtle beast in a swimsuit and a bikini? Come on.
Some people like the fan service, some people don't.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Guess what? On these optional uniforms, you don't have to use them.
Also, I want to mention one other game. It's not a Nintendo game. It's on Apple Arcade right now. So if you're an Apple fan and you've got Apple Arcade, a brand new card battler game that one of my students actually put me on to yesterday is called Marvel Snap. Is out now, and it may be also out for Android as well. But basic idea is that all the Marvel characters are cards, and they all have a point value, and you assign them to one of three slots on the battlefield, and you try to have the total of points there. And all the cards have different things they do, and all the bases have different things they do. If you've ever played the board game Smash Up, this is Smash Up with Marvel characters. You just don't smash two of them together. You build your own deck. You do, you have all these things. So I'm like throwing Medusa and the Hulk and Cyclops and all these. And it's really well done. And when you upgrade the cards, they don't upgrade in power, but they upgrade in rarity and they upgrade in card effects. So like when your card upgrades, the first thing you get is frame break and like the art pops out of the card. And then from there, you can get 3D version. You can get motion added to it. It just ends up being this really cool piece of Marvel art there that like you can move your phone and it's all moving and the hair's blowing and blaster effects are going. And it's just really cool. And I mean, if you have Apple Arcade, it's free. So check out Marvel Snap. That's what I've been playing. Somebody else go.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Okay, so I've been playing more Picross S8. I think I have the 2 of the 5 large puzzles left. I'll hold on to them. If I can hold myself back to that, and then so Tim and I and other people who, if they want to hop in, can go through them when we meet up in a few weeks. A game. I got a code early access, but I didn't get a chance to play it until after it released. Is Reky, R-E-K-Y. I have a Let's Play video on that out there. It's a logic puzzle that a lot of it seems so random, and I don't never understood the logic, so I didn't get very far in it before I said I'm done. Like there's the goal is to get your little bouncy ball. You need to get to an exit portal, and you do that by moving. You probably have to like move these squares around to build a path, and so some of the squares have colors. You're able to if the square is colored, then you can push A or push whatever button it is, and it'll move to an alternate location. Push A again, and it goes back. You can take the color away, and then go to a colorless square, give it the color, and then it can move. So the puzzle is figuring out, how to build the path, but it doesn't tell you where the cube is going to go until you do it. So you can be wasting a lot of moves. And of course, part of a score is how efficient are you. It'll tell you, this could have been solved in 13 moves, but you took 45. And I'm like, no, don't do that to me. If you're trying to teach me a game, don't tell me I suck at it, because that's a good way for me to stop playing it. Another thing that it does that I didn't like is the square can have more than 2 places it can land on. Like you give it a color, you can only move. It always moves back and forth if you do nothing else. But if you move it from position A to position B, take the color away and then give it the color again, it's now reset as a new square, and it'll now go to position C and then back to B. So again, the game doesn't tell you which squares have multiple positions. It doesn't tell you where they'll go unless you trial and error it. And the whole thing just ended up just feeling random. I got past the first area. I think there was like 6 or 7 sections of the game. And I ended up quitting early on in the second section.
Mecca asks, is this another rage video?
Yeah, I didn't last long. I think it was like a 20-minute video total, maybe 20, no more than 30. And yeah, you could see me getting frustrated with it. So Monday, I was in the mood to playing something Dragon Quest. I knew that the PlayStation game was going to get like 5 Dragon Quest games available to it if you were in the middle or the large tiers on Tuesday. But it wasn't, it was Monday, so I couldn't download those games yet. I wanted to play Dragon Quest Heroes 2. That's the game I haven't played before. So instead, to kind of scratch that itch, I started Dragon Quest Builders 2 on the Xbox, because I had that downloaded last year, on Game Pass. So I played that for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night for a few hours each. Again, it's been so long since I played that game, I completely forgot the story. It's fun. It's a game I would like to continue playing again. I did download Heroes 2 eventually on the PlayStation, but I haven't had a chance to start that yet. If there's another game drought, I will. I know I can fall back on, but with Mario and Rabbids, with Jackbox came out today, with Persona coming out tomorrow, it'll be a while before I'm looking for things to play.
Right.
Right. So, Tim.
All right. So I haven't been able to play much, but when I was playing, I was continuing to play Four Tales, and I got through my first run of that and failed. So, because if you heard me talk about this game, basically it's a choose your own adventure type, thing with a card battle system to help you get through the story. And I won't rehash everything I've said in the past weeks about it, but basically I got through the story. I chose my routes and everything, and the route I chose, I failed to save the world essentially. So what the game does is it sent me back to the beginning of the game, but it's not totally like just sending me there to start over. And I'm trying to pull up what it says, because it's like I get to start at the beginning. I make a little mention of that, like, this seems familiar, and my character does. This seems familiar, and then I start going through the same adventure again, but I have the option to pick different routes. But I completed my first pass through of my second try, and I got a new message that I didn't see before, and it said basically you've unlocked the ability to transport your consciousness to other realities, like say a reality where my character's last mission hasn't happened yet. So if something hasn't quite gone the way you planned, or if you just like to try things a different way, you don't have to start over. For you, it'll feel like you're rewinding time. So, which I thought was interesting. And this is what I kind of suspected would happen, was that, okay, if I didn't get it right, my first choices, I would have to start it over, and I'd be able to make different choices. Kind of the same way you would in your choose your own adventure game. Or book, excuse me, choose your own adventure. Is like you get through the book and you get to a point where you didn't want to end. You go back and say, where was that choice I made? Let me go change a different choice and then see where that choice takes me.
Yeah. During the pre-show, we talked about this a little, and I described it similar to what Radiant Historia and Beacon Pines did. Is it lets you go back to a previous point in the timeline and make a change.
Yep. So I'm curious about that, but I may have to come back to this game another time, because I still want to play other games. I'm on the fence right now. I do like this game, so I may still go back to it because that's how much I like this game. But there's other games I want to play. Like I want to continue playing Lego Brick Tales. I've been enjoying that game a lot too, because of the building elements of that. But on deck, I also have another game that I'm looking to try out. And then if I enjoy that game, then I'm going to want to be playing that game. And that game is Pinball Wizard. That one comes out on October 27th. I haven't played it yet, but it's on deck. And it's basically, like I said, it comes out October 27th. It's $7.99. And basically, you're a pinball wizard. That's who you are. That's who your main character is. And you're playing a level in a tower, and you have to get to the top of the tower, and each level has flippers to keep you going through to beat that level. So it's basically like a pinball game, but some sort of adventure arcade action game too. So I was excited about this game when I saw it, and excited that we got a code from Frostpop, the publisher. So looking forward to checking that out and getting the video out to you guys so you guys can check it out too. So that's what I got on deck, and that's what I've been playing. Justin, what you been playing?
Hi, folks. Great to be back. Appreciate it. A couple things I've been playing. I've been playing, as I mentioned last week, Overwatch 2. Loving Overwatch 2. Marty, did you get a chance to jump into play, and how's that going for you? I know you and I were having some DMs back and forth when it launched. You're on mute, pal.
Yeah. So I played Overwatch 2. You're not going to like what I have to say. It's just Overwatch 1 with 2 new characters.
3.
That's it.
That's like what he said last week.
That's it. I would really love to know what took so long to develop. Just saying.
COVID.
Well,
what do you think of the battle pass?
there's some people that developed entire new games during COVID. So not just 2 new characters and a couple of maps. What do I think about the battle pass? Quite honestly, it's just a way to get money. It's like that. Like, look, we're either going to get our money via loot box or this, right? I'm choosing not to play with the battle pass on this because number one, I don't play a lot of Overwatch because I suck at it. Number two, I don't have money or time for another battle pass. So I'm gonna stick with Fortnite.
Fair. Yeah, fair enough. Well, I'll tell you that like I'm on level 25 in the so you all right?
Yeah, you glitched out there for a bit, but I think you're back.
Okay. Yeah, level 25 or 26 in the battle pass. I actually jumped into the competitive side of it and actually ended up ranking out at bronze already. So I did some competitive matches. I had said, I think in the last week's episode that Overwatch has now taken over Apex in regards to my second free-to-play battle pass game. I have not really gone back to Apex. Not really. And I know they've got a new character, a new map coming out here in the next week. It's not really drawn me. So I've been really enjoying Overwatch. Now, give it 2 or 3 battle pass runs or 4 battle pass runs, and we're looking in March. Am I still back on it like I am like Fortnite? Really tough to say, but I'm really enjoying what I am playing. Marty, you are right. It's very much Overwatch 1, some new maps, some new characters, but I am definitely enjoying it and I have a great time with it. Next game I've been playing very lightly today. Today, Alan Wake Remastered hit the Nintendo Switch. Shadow dropped today. The PR firm was kind enough to send over a code, and so I jumped onto it. Got a first look up, actually. I think it just went up just before the show went live, actually, so you can check it out there. Now, I will say this with the grain of statement that I have only played 30 minutes of it. Not having played Alan Wake anywhere else. This is my first exposure to, I guess, the other peripheral exposure I would say is that I have played Control. Yes, it's on the cloud, but I played Control. So I'm aware of some of the, I understand these worlds are connected, right? But I was always like, everyone's like, oh, Control's in the Alan Wake universe. I was like, what does that mean? This game is a 2010 Xbox game, and it is one of the worst ports I have ever seen of a game coming over the Switch. And
shots fired.
And so there are a lot of things I very much like about it. I like the story of like it's very interesting, it's very involved. It's kind of a psychological thriller, I guess is the word I'm going to use there. So I was like, yeah, this is like, okay, cool. There's a lot of mysteries going on. There's some kind of creepy characters. What's a dream? What's not a dream? What's part of my story? What's not part of my story? This using the light as staying within the light, like that's a cool aspect. I think the VO work, speaking of voice acting work, I think is really well done. The sound mix is really well done. The cut scenes are good. It is the in-game action, the in-game draw distance, the in-game characters that look real bad. Like,
I know why, Justin. I know why.
Why is that, Tim?
COVID.
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you, you son of a gun. Like it's real janky. And so let me ask you about all of you this. Has anyone played Alan Wake before? No.
No, but I know the story.
Okay. So here's one thing. Here's my observation. So I did it's about 30 minutes of our first.
That was a 360 exclusive back in the day, right?
Was it? Okay. We did.
I'm asking, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. So I think my thing is about 30 minutes, give or take. I will estimate that probably 40 to 50% of that time is cutscenes, is not playable cutscenes, but cutscenes to move the narrative along. So, like, I guess if there's these cutscenes and so it's interesting because the cutscenes are really clean. I mean, really clean. Like you can tell it's a little bit of an older game, but it looks really good. And I'm like, yeah, these models look great. The dialogue is great. Cool. I'm engaged. And then you transition to the playable bits and you're like, ooh, this looks like real rough. And so it's a little disappointing. It is on sale right now. 20% off. So I think in the US, I think it's like $24. I think there was some additional content that they added to it as well. Some DLC. I'm really hoping to see like a patch come in that stabilizes it. I'm also struggling to understand. You use the word remastered. What did you do? Like what it like, and I don't mean that disparagingly, but like what was it that was remastered? What makes it? And if you're telling me that a Nintendo Switch can't play a 2010 game and make it look smooth and good, I can give you 5 or 6 games that are ports that should definitely be struggling a lot more than they are. This month alone, NieR Automata, right?
Yeah, Marty was just talking about it.
Gone.
Yeah. Right? Yep. No Man's Sky. Overwatch, Persona 5, right? And I'm going to even argue Apex Legends, right? Like these are big games that are not struggling. So this is really disappointing. And I think, it's funny. I saw some commentary on Twitter about it. Like, it's not sometimes a shadow drop is a great thing, right? Like, oh my gosh, this is a surprise. Awesome. Sometimes shadow dropping is very deliberate from a PR perspective. Which is nobody got their hands on it before it came live. So if you were like, oh man, Alan Wake, oh man, $25. Yeah, I'll pull that trigger. And then you're like, ugh, this is rough. Nobody got early access to it. Right. And I remember, Seth, our good friend Seth from All In Podcasts and Carpool Gaming, he was looking forward to it. You think my takes are hot. You should check out his as well. He is definitely not happy with it. I'm really hoping
takes on Twitter.
His takes are on Twitter. I'm definitely hoping they have it a patch. Like I said, there's a lot of good things I do like about it, and I'm engaged, and I do want to know more about the world. But it's really breaking that immersion, right? When you're like, oh man, this cutscene's really good. Oh man, I'm super interested in that. And then you kind of turn, you're like, ooh, that is. And I'm not like a person who's like, oh, graphics have to be this and that. You know that as a guy who's only played a Switch or only has a Nintendo Switch. But this is one of those things I was like, ooh, someone did not quite finish what they needed to here. So I've been playing those. I will say I've been playing one other game, not a Nintendo Switch game, but I'm going to give it kudos anyways. I've been playing Marvel Snap on mobile on Apple and Android. And
Marty was talking about that too.
Were you? If you're looking for a card-based game, check out Marvel Snap. I can't wait for it to actually be PvP, where I could actually send like, hey, Marty, here's my code, and you and I could actually battle it out. That would be awesome. But Marvel Snap is like, I'm digging that. Very cool. I don't know, it's free right now, and where you debate free and battle passes and all that stuff, but that's been a great game. And I'm excited to jump into Mario and Rabbids. Got that today. Just haven't had a chance to jump in and play it, but I'm looking forward to some time this weekend. And still loving Tunic, right? Still loving Tunic. So that is the games I've been playing.
All right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Move on to the community spotlight. Sorry, Marty, I didn't realize you were going to do that too.
No, it's totally fine. No, go right ahead.
All right.
People have heard enough of me. Seriously.
Well, we'll get through the community spotlight here. We're talk about, well, first, let me stop and say thanks to everybody who stopped by in the Twitch and the YouTube and the Facebook, in our chat while we're doing this live. Thanks to Mecha Dragon, as always. He's always here, and Ebicel, and we had Ink Goblin in YouTube. He stopped by. We had Council Cato stop by. Mike Dreamer, Sean Capri, Chris HL 94. Just going through the list, and I'm sorry if I missed your names. I'm just trying to roll back here. Bobby Miller was here. And Friendo. Yes. So lots of people stopped by. Like I said, we had 14 people in here through here. So very, very cool. And thanks for always stopping by to watch us do this live. So speaking of that, we have other podcasts in our NINDADS family of podcasts that we encourage you to go check out, especially if you're into what they talk about, such as Game Pass. If you have Game Pass and you need help figuring out what to play, go check out Game Pass News with Nick and Sean. They go over the week's game Xbox news and Game Pass releases. Plus, they talk about their own shenanigans and stuff like that. So their podcast drops every Saturday. So go check them out. And then you have the Dads After Dark show, where Justin's trying to get on every week or every time he's on here. So, but after the kids,
I'm just auditioning with my potty mouth.
Yes. After the kids are in bed and the wife is distracted, John and Drew get together and talk about video games and dad stuff we can't talk about on our family-friendly show, even though Justin tries to. Drops every other Monday night with an occasional episode in between. And then we have our Retro Logic shows, which they have their own family of shows as well. Not only do they have Retro Logic with Dan, John, and Sam, where they cover a lot of retro gaming and retro gaming collecting topics, but they also have their On Topic Retro, where John also goes in depth It does overviews and discussions on specific retro games. Then we have Retro Groove, which Adam and Liam discuss music from all generations and types. And then now they have a Film Logic one where I actually got to be a guest on this past show where we talk about Ghostbusters. And that's where our very own Solo Something, who's in our community and who's an executive producer here, he's on that show and with his friend Mike. So it was very cool to hang out with them this past week. So I encourage you to go check them out. And if you do, especially Film Logic, because they just dropped, if you do go check them out, especially if you're listening on Apple, please give them reviews because the reviews always help on any of these shows, but especially for Film Logic because they just got started. So
hint, hint. That's also for us.
Yes. So go to nintendodads.org to see all of the NINDADS family of podcasts, Spotify feeds, or go to your favorite podcasting app and subscribe. You can also find all of them on Twitter, Twitch, and or YouTube. Give them all a follow, please. Not only do they have those going on, like I said, if you go to their Twitter page or something like that, or even if they're in our Discord, if they have their own Discord, they have contests going on, such as Dad's After Dark show has monthly mayhem. They have their Halloween mayhem going on until November 1st. So basically, it's just submit a Halloween themed photo, video, or written story, submit it to them on Twitter or Discord, and they get judged by Drew and John, and then you can win some eShop credit. Or you got Game Pass News, who's doing Achievement Hunters, where their Death Loop achievements going to be up today, in fact, the 21st. So, and then, of course, be a lookout on their Twitter or listen to their shows for more details on Achievement Hunters, or even Dad's After Dark show's bounty board, which they have stuff going on too. And you have to listen to their show in order to know what bounties are available. So that's everything going on with those shows. Now let's go on to the questions we have. And there are 2 questions that we know that Marty and Justin need to answer that we've been holding on to this whole time they've been off. First question comes from Drew. And that is, if Nintendo were to shut its doors tomorrow and stop supporting all video games, how would this impact you and the future of your gaming? So basically, if they did a Google to Stadia.
Oh man, I
too
would be
soon,
sad.
guys. Too soon. All right.
I would be really sad. That's a terrible question.
It would have been sooner if you were here every week.
Oh,
I mean, it's a good question. But man, I want to think about that. I mean, there was a time, I guess, that maybe Nintendo was close to that, right? With the Wii U. Here's how it would impact me. I'd probably play a lot less games. Because as I said earlier, when we were talking about the Switch, it's made me able to play games like, in those little breaks and things and chip away at them.
Playing a lot more mobile games, probably.
Yeah, a lot more phone games, but not a lot of good games because not a lot of phone games are good games. Just saying. I'd probably be gaming a lot less. Let's put it that way. What about you, Justin?
Do we live in a universe where they existed beforehand, like Google Stadia, and then all of a sudden they just one day they're like, and we're done?
Right. Yeah. It existed and then they're done.
Okay. So my statement is I would download every single game that I had that has been on the cloud or sitting in the cloud. I would hard drive it down and I would enjoy every single piece of content. That backlog, man, I'd be swimming in that backlog. You know what I mean? I'd be tackling that backlog and I'd be saying, do you remember the days of Mario? Kids, come gather around and let me tell you of the magical days of Mario and Zelda and Metroid and the Pokemons and the Pikachus, right? And the Bayonettas and all that stuff. I would still continue to be a gamer. I'd still continue to play. I'd probably be playing on an Xbox because I still would want to be doing those type of things. So that is kind of what I do.
That this is something I meant to ask is earlier when we were talking about the impact the Switch had on the industry. We didn't mention anything about would we have Game Pass playing it portably? Would we have Steam Deck? Would we have LG's thing You know,
Honestly, I don't think we'd have any of that portable stuff. I think things would have just continued on as is, like console only. You know, there might be a portable, but it might be, oh, there's no way this can play console games too. You know, the
Right.
Vita was getting close with remote play. I think it would be, if anything, it would be more of that. Like we might get,
true.
you know, what we're seeing with xCloud on mobile devices with the backbone controller, but it wouldn't be a dedicated mobile console or hybrid.
Yeah. Well, would we even have those controllers even, you know, like
that's a
the
good
attempts
question.
at those. So it's very interesting to think about, like that alternate universe where the Switch never came out or something like that, you know? So, all right. The other question that was asked that you guys missed is from Ebicel on behalf of Mecha. If you had a cutie mark, what would it be if it was a video game, if it was video game related, and what would it be if it could be anything? You guys know what I'm talking about with cutie mark.
It's the mark that's on the horse's butt and or flank.
My Little Pony's butt.
Pony. It represents part of their personality, Justin.
Yes.
So I already have my answer here. If it was video game related, it would be an E-Tank from Mega Man.
Nice.
If it was not video game related, it would be a plate full of bacon.
All right. I like that answer.
Or a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Yeah. Last week, I think it was episode, someone said, no, mine would have been a Dragon Quest slime. I didn't, for some reason, I didn't.
For Justin, if he doesn't have one.
For some reason, I didn't think of that last week.
You know what? I'm more interested in hearing your response to mine.
I think it's a briefcase.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that.
Briefcase or a dollar sign.
Yeah. Okay.
You're the money pony.
And the non-video game one is a pint.
Yeah, I was going to say that, or like a whiskey bottle, right? One of those two things. Maybe a maple leaf.
There you go.
Right.
You go.
Just a can of Iron Brew.
Yeah. Oh man, so good. So good.
You're the Canadian pony.
Yeah.
With a little bit of maple.
It's a Timbit.
With a little maple syrup dripping off the leaf.
Yeah,
maple syrup dropping off.
Those are good. Anybody want to draw those up for us? We'll take them.
I couldn't remember the name, but Mecha mentioned it. There is a pony in the Gen 4 show with a dollar sign. His name is Filthy Rich.
I love it.
Nice.
Call him Justin.
All right. Going back to Drew's, he had another question this week, and it's for all of us. If you could hang out with just one Scooby-Doo character for the night, who would it be and why?
I'm glad my wife doesn't listen to the show. It's Velma. No comment.
That says everything right there.
Well, I was also going to say Velma, probably for different reasons, but just because she seems like to be the more nerdy, intelligent of the group, and I figure that's the one I would be able to get along with better. Shaggy would just creep me out if he was in real life. Go away, Norval. Go away.
Justin?
I'm not going to lie to you. Velma's a pretty good answer. Pretty solid answer.
There's a reason she's getting her own show on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. But I'm going to be honest with you. I also think hanging out and having a couple beers and some chill time with Scooby and Shaggy, like they'd have to be a duo. Do you know what I mean? You'd have to hang out with Scooby and Shaggy together.
You can't. They balance each other out.
Yeah, it'd have to be a 2-for-1. Yeah. That's what I think. So
this answer I'm going to give hurts because I don't like to be negative. As a kid, I did not like those cartoons. They did not appeal to me whatsoever.
Wow, I grew up with those cartoons.
And Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I hardly liked Flintstones. Jetsons maybe because I like the future aspect of it, but
the childhood of bereft of joy.
I did not like Hanna-Barbera cartoons, so I totally skipped those.
That was literally my childhood. Like
Captain Caveman.
I know Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Penelope Pitstop.
I could anything that said Hanna-Barbera, I was like, nope.
I bet we're throwing out characters that half our listeners have never heard of.
Mecca says Tim had no childhood.
He also said he
construct.
didn't know. He also said he didn't know Shaggy had a real name.
But I will say this: that after the Scooby-Doo movie, I agree with the Velma comment. So moving on, Mecca also asked, what was your favorite Street Pass game on the 3DS, and which one of them would you love to be brought back to the Switch in some way?
I even wanted to look at the games to remind myself.
This is a good one. There was one where you built like a mansion or something, like you dropped different rooms in there and you fought things as you went through
each floor. Yep.
Yeah, I really liked that one, but I think that I'm going to go with the I didn't play it that much because it was one of those that came out in the second batch, but there was one where you fought zombies that were your friends.
Yes.
I loved that game. So much
I've
fun.
spent so much time in there.
They were all so good. Like that's such a concept that needs to be brought back. I don't know how you do that with the Switch, maybe with local play.
I think you're thinking of
like
Monster Manor.
Monster Manor, that was it.
They could totally bring it back. They got the cart slot. They could probably make a cart
before they bring back Nintendo Land, Tim.
It was true.
They
could use the cart slot to put a local Wi-Fi would work on here.
Yeah. Apparently, I never bought the final bundle, the Ultimate Angler and Battleground Z. I did not. Those
Battleground Z was fun. Gone before your time, Street Pass.
I will remember you.
I liked Market Crashers.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
I don't even remember that one.
And but the one I think I liked the most was Find Me. And I have a funny story about that one. So I was when I went to E3 2011, so this is like 3 months after Switch launch. I was close to the end game, or I was finishing my first run through it. And one of the nights, don't remember if it was the first or second, we were in a Nintendo roundtable, closed room meeting sort of thing, where Miyamoto had his personal me on Street Pass Share. And I was able to pick one up, and he delivered the kill shot on the final boss for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I don't know if it's still on my YouTube channel, or maybe it was on VG Tribune's YouTube channel back if that's still around. But I had recorded that on my crappy phone at the time, and uploaded it, from my RLA rental house with no with barely internet.
That's awesome. Okay. Do we have any more questions there, Tim? Because I've actually got one that came through that I meant to put out. Is that all right?
Oh yeah, we got plenty of questions. I was just looking at the list of games too, but I also liked Ninja Launcher was pretty fun.
I didn't like that one.
Because then there was Warrior's Way. That's the other one. I like that one. I think that would be cool. I also like the fishing game. That was pretty fun too at times.
Yeah.
But all right. Great question, Mecca. Next question that came up was from John Zablanc. Our house got taken over by gnats the last couple days. We're currently killing them off with some extra cleaning and gnat traps. Little bowls with mixture of vinegar, sugar, and soap that draw them in. My question for the dads is, if I wanted to capture each of you, what should I put in my traps?
Oreos, bacon,
Doritos, and either Mountain Dew Zero or Coke Zero. Either one of those. Just I'd go right into that trap and just be like drinking and eating my chips.
The first thing that came to my head isn't food, but it's pretty much any form of legacy technology. Like, earlier this year, I was trying to put together a 6502 based microcomputer. That project is pretty much stalled out and bombed. I've since picked up an old Apple II. Again, uses the same processor, 6502. And I've, able to get games working on that Apple computer. So that's kind of...
You probably wouldn't even notice you got trapped. You'd just be messing with that, and then the trap would close, and then you'd still be messing with that.
So
I was going to say probably to catch Jesse, you just put in Kickstarters for systems, for retro systems that are never going to get made.
Something like that.
Sorry, I had to say it. Just throw an Amico and an Atari VCS in there, and you got him. I love you, Jesse. Sorry, that's probably the meanest thing I've ever said to you. Sorry.
No. I deserve that. You're okay.
Well, to be fair though, too, you did call it when you said you were going to support it. You figured they probably wouldn't happen, but you were supporting it anyways.
I'm just gonna throw some money at this. Probably not gonna do anything, but
right. I'll support it, but it's probably not going to happen. That's funny.
Yeah. What about you, Justin? What draws you in?
Beer and nachos.
That's a good one.
Any
too.
specific kind of nachos?
I don't like jalapenos because it does stuff to my stomach that I don't like, but I'm talking like a good, like there's cheese in there. There's some green onions. There's some ground beef. There's some tomatoes we might have in there. We have some peppers, so like a fully loaded plate of nachos, and then we got some sour cream, guac, and salsa. I would also say if you combine that with some ribs or chicken wings, like a
I'm getting hungry now.
If you have like a pub platter and a beer, ladies and gentlemen, scratch my belly. I'm good to go.
Justin, do you ever go to Salt Lake City at all?
I don't. No.
Okay. But if anybody goes, if you ever go to Salt Lake City, there's a bar there called Lakeside. I think it's called Lake something. I have to look it up. But they have this awesome can of nachos. They take a big coffee can, do layers of nachos and nacho toppings, layers of it, and then they take the can off. They cook, bake it that way, and then they take the can off, and it's just this can-shaped
that doesn't sound
mountain of nachos and cheese and all those all those things you talked about, Justin. All in there.
I agree with Marty. That does not
fantastic.
sound appetizing.
Oh, it's. I got a picture of it. I'll have to show you guys. I'll have to share it with you guys. So, but yeah, awesome. All right, another great question. Last question we got was from Mikey Burgett. This is a not Nintendo question, but given the series started on the NES, it is kind of appropriate. The new trailer for Final Fantasy 16 dropped today, and at the beginning of the trailer, it had likely mature 17 plus on the rating portion screen. To my knowledge, this would be the first Final Fantasy mainline game, at least to have a mature rating. I think there may have been an offshoot game with an M rating, but not a mainline game. My question is, what are y'all's thoughts on this potential move towards a mature mainline Final Fantasy game? And do you think this will be something that will be a trend for Square Enix or a one-off? I think they're going to find out real fast that a mature rating like that is not going to sell very well.
No, but I think I know why they're doing this. And honestly, Stranger of Paradise, I think, is the game that Mikey is thinking of. And it had the most buzz post-launch that any Final Fantasy game has had in years, save for remake. So you can kind of understand why they're doing it, right? Because they want people talking about their game.
Yeah, Stranger of Paradise was rated M.
So Stranger of Paradise, I mean, the thing is that people, when they were talking about it, were not kind to it. It was a joke. It was an in-joke. It was a meme. But hey, publicity is publicity, right, Bayonetta?
I see what you did there.
Making him, let him talk. It gives them the ability to slide some more blood in, slide some more cussing, and that makes games good, right? Sure, it does. Call of Duty's been running on it for years.
True.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things where, you know, the franchise may not be getting new fans like Pokemon gets new fans every year with new kids every generation. So if they're not getting new fans, their previous fans are aging up. I think they're just trying to match that. You know, similar things have happened with other franchises and like PS1, PS2 era, 360 era, things like that. So this is now just Final Fantasy's turn at this gimmick that will likely not work well for them, because that'll be. I think a lot of people will complain about that, saying we like the more lighter toned games of the previous games.
Right.
You know what doesn't have an M rating? Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. Put them on the
Chris.
Switch.
I'm gonna start calling you Chris.
Well,
that's gonna be your. That's gonna be your.
It is.
NHL 94.
It is. I'm going to start tweeting them every day.
Party Pixel Remaster Estes.
Chris will show you how to do it properly. He knows how to.
Yeah. Look. I love it.
Yeah, if I ever run for like a role in government, I want Chris as my campaign manager.
Heck yeah,
right? Because that man has got some chops. You know what I'm saying?
People will know. People will know.
People know
all about you.
That's right.
So
I think we'll have made progress when like NHL, the EA NHL blocks us. I think that will be pure. Like,
you know, guys, I haven't checked this, but I really do believe that Hideki Kamiya has already blocked us. I'm sure we're pre-blocked there.
I love that idea.
But guys,
I
thought he left Twitter.
He did, but he's back.
Oh, he's back. Okay,
he's back now.
I've got one last question that came in.
Oh,
can we ask it? No, sorry. So this actually came in through David Blanke for DM. He actually won a prize from us recently, and he said, I got a question I'd love to submit about your trip to New York City and the new Nintendo store. What are you the most excited to see at the Nintendo store and getting the chance to pick up and buy? And have any of the dads been there previously? And although time is limited, what do you hope to experience or discuss with fans in New York? So I'll give a quick summary of this. I have actually been there before. So I know kind of what to expect. You guys haven't, correct? None of you. Okay.
Correct. I've never been there.
The closest I've gotten to the Nintendo store is Mecha Dragon picking me up a Mario 35th anniversary coffee mug.
I'm hoping to pick
up
Liam
getting us those Metroid hoodies.
Hoodies, yeah. I'm really hoping to pick up some like maybe like another Splatoon hat or a hoodie. So one of the things I love about the Nintendo New York store is they actually, when I went, they had like New York specific wear that you couldn't buy anywhere else. So there was like this fantastic piece of like art that's very, very, very well known in New York, and it's like a New York bench in Central Park, and there's like pigeons in front of it, but they've replaced the person sitting on it with Toon Link, and he's like throwing little things on the floor. And it's absolutely brilliant. I love that shirt, one of my favorite shirts, but it was very specific to New York. I'm excited. This will sound weird. I'm excited for these guys to go and see New York. Right. When I was there, like there was massive statues of like Donkey Kong in the window. And like the pole ran all the way to the second floor, and walking through the Nintendo Museum where it shows like the Game Boy and everything that was blown up in the Iraq War, like all of just the Nintendo swag and stuff all around that you really get immersed in. I'm excited for that. So that's my commentary.
That's mine. That's my, like the Nintendo nostalgia of it all. Like seeing all the displays, the wall of amiibo, or like the thing where they have every amiibo ever there, and just like the unique items. That's what I'm looking for, because my kids have already been like, Dad, bring us something. Well, it's probably going to be for Christmas, but
exactly,
you know, like I'm going to get them something there that they don't expect. Like my daughter was like, anything Animal Crossing. And I'm like, okay, because your other favorite game is Clubhouse Games, 51 games from around the world. And I don't think they make, an amiibo or a plush of that. So you're probably getting Isabel or Tom Nook.
You might find a set of Hanafuda cards.
Do you know how to play Hanafuda? Because I don't.
No, I don't.
It's
I tried to learn it in that game,
and
and I couldn't even figure it out. So
Yeah, same here.
I got the ones that you can get from the Club Nintendo, and it came with instructions, and it was better to have the actual cards than try to learn it on the game. Apparently,
I got you.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I'm just, I don't know what to expect, so I'm just looking forward to just the experience of just being there for the first time. Probably, I like the Nintendo Museum, I think you mentioned. I think definitely is something I'm looking forward to, but mainly just looking around and taking it all in. That'll be something new to me.
Yeah, I know when I went there, my wife was like, "Okay, we only get an hour and a half here. Like, okay, you could be here all day." And I was like, "I know."
Yep.
So,
and Mecca was talking about going to scope the place out and tell us what they got. No, I personally don't want that. I want to go see it myself.
Yeah, I want to go see it.
So you don't have to do that, but I appreciate it. But no, because I'm like Jesse, I just want to take it all in. But the main thing that I'm going to be looking for is something unique from the Metroid series. So, I mean, we got the hoodies, and that's why we were lucky enough to have Liam send us those.
Yeah.
From the store. So, I want to see, is there going to be a hat that maybe it's out by that time that's not out, or another hoodie, something unique about a Metroid game, or even Legend of Zelda. That'd be, my second look. But anything from the Nintendo store for sure, and like you all were saying, something for, probably for Christmas for everybody else.
Yeah.
Hopefully I won't walk out with having spent too much money there. But
here's what we're gonna say, gentlemen. Folks, in 2 weeks from now, when you're watching the live show, we will actually have gone to the Nintendo New York store first before doing the live show. So we're actually be like on camera and be like, "Hey, I went in and we purchased a couple of these things." So 2 weeks from now, we'll tell you what we bought.
Yeah, we'll show.
Unless it's
we'll
for
do
my
a show and
kids,
tell.
it's a surprise.
Yeah, we can't do that.
But well, with that being said, thanks for this awesome question. Thank you everybody for your questions and for hanging with us. For episode 397, we're going to wrap it up right here as we close out the show. We want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers. That's Dave Ernsberger, Solo Something, Alexander Ocampo, RJ Kern, Chad Benoist. Thank you guys for supporting us at the $30 level. And if you want to hop in and be a Patreon subscriber as well, a friend of the show, a Patreon producer, you can do that over at patreon.com/NintendoDads. Or you can head over to our website, nintendodads.org, where you can find all of our links. That's YouTube, our Twitter, our podcast episodes in the past, the Nintendo Dads shop for Nintendo Dads merch, where you can get yourself a episode 400 shirt or something like that over there. You can also find our Extra Life campaign. You can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com, or you can call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. We want to say a big thanks to OC Remix for the music used throughout the show. And reminder, wherever you download this podcast on Friday Bit, CastBox, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever it is, go leave us a 5-star review and write some words. It helps push us up the charts and it helps more people find Nintendo Dads. And you can also help us just by spreading the good word and telling people, hey, I got a podcast you need to listen to. Come check it out. Guys, this has been episode 397 for myself, for Justin, for Tim, and Jesse. We want to say thanks for being fans. Thanks for listening. We love you guys. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
No, wait. Breaking news, apparently. Platinum responded about the Bayonetta controversy.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Do we want to step on that real quick?
Is this for real? Like it's real?
It's mentioned in our chat. Mecca brought it up in there, so I hope it is.
Say it.
I'm just saying we gotta look it up. Bayo responded, so or
he didn't give us a link or anything.
No, he just said Platinum responded. So is that Twitter?
Do you want to do that in the post show or?
Well, not everybody.
Well,
he just watched Game Explain. All right, so we're gonna have to watch Game Explain apparently. So
all right, that's it. Good night, guys. See you next week.
I am not being redirected to another person's page.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
I don't know what animal this is or what Pokemon this is.
Soundwave superior, Constructicons inferior.